I'm not perfect. Hello, Mr. Ed, are you there? Ed, sir, do I hear you? Where's my fry guy? Not seeing or hearing my fry guy. Where's my fry guy? Well, hello all. We are back after more technical difficulties. It's been one heck of a time. And we're trying to figure out how to at least stream and talk about movies on some. We're missing overlays at this point. We're missing, right now we're even missing Fry Guy. But that's okay. We're going to get figured out. We're going to get everything figured out. So for right now, it's me, MrSnidBitS. I'm tiny in the corner on the left because I had to load into Minecraft just to talk. But we are viewing some movies tonight until we can get things sorted out. So bear with us as we get things figured out. And I think Ed's having a problem here, so let's find out what's going on there. Ah, I see. Ed's having problems getting back into the party because I didn't re-invite him and I locked him out. I'm just a dork. Okay. Bear with me here. There he goes. There he goes. Yep. Hopefully he can join. Do we hear him? I see him. Do I hear him? Oh, I hear him. It's crackly, but I hear him. Now I have an echo.
My controller, not my phone.
Ooh. You're on your controller, not your phone. Are you there? Pure static.
Pure static.
Mm-hmm.
Pure romance.
Oh, there we go. You're there.
Weeps, chains, and dildos.
We're here.
We're here.
I was loading into Minecraft, but it doesn't matter. What game we figured? Minecraft, we could just load our characters in and, face the screen and they'll be us. Yeah. Right? There we are.
I have not played Minecraft in a long time.
That's okay. You only want to use it to stand there and talk about movies. On the screen with me. We'll see. All right. So, we're here to talk about movies. This feels odd.
Yeah. It sounds odd.
No, it does sound odd. Doesn't sound good. Should we abandon it?
Yeah, what?
Should we abandon it and try to find something else so we can figure it out?
Nah, I mean, like, we're pretty far behind, so I might as well give it some try.
I do agree with you. So, we watched 3 movies this week,
Yeah.
and these movies were The Little, Army of Darkness, and Rear Window, which is a 3 movie set to play or to watch together. And I watched my movies in a really weird order, and I watched The Little Things in little tiny pieces. How about you? How about you, Fraga?
Well, I did not make the little things and do a bunch of little things.
Right?
Sat down and watched the thing all the way through. And I also watched it in degrees in which I thought the movies would probably rate and or have quality from worst to best.
So you judged them
I prejudged them,
on
yeah.
what you thought they would do, and then watched them from worst to best based on that.
And I started with Little Things and then went to Army of Darkness as sort of a palate cleanser and or familiar, and then Rear Window, because even though I hadn't seen Rear Window, I know who does it, and I figured there's no way this is going to be a bad movie.
What is up? How you doing, Frost? Frost Gaming. Nice to see you. Thank you for showing up. We are having terrible problems with our technical difficulties, but we are here, and we're loading into Minecraft just so we can talk about movies with Minecraft in the background for absolutely no reason. So, but that's okay. We are still reviewing the films. So, I like the way you did that, though, Ed. I like the way you approached that. Definitely a different way to approach it. I just kind of watched them in what I was in the mood for, and I think I watched. What did I watch first? Rear Window, Army of Darkness. I've seen 1,000 times. So I just kind of, had it and had already been kind of watching it when I knew we were going to do it.
There's never a bad time to watch Army of Darkness 2.
Right. Although, I have to say, this time around was very different for me than any previous time I've seen the film, and I've seen it probably, 70, 80 times, really.
Huh.
I've seen it a lot of times. When I watch movies, man, I watch them way too many times. But, oh wow, we're going to do an update, which is fine. Don't worry about all that. Just look at the little box. That's all you care about. The little box and the audio. That's all we care about on this stream. So, I watched. All right, we're going to talk about Little Things first, then we're going to talk about Army of Darkness, and then we'll talk about because that's kind of the order we've been taking things in.
The way God intended.
New movie series classic, right? That's the way God.
Yep. Until we mix it up and do something totally different.
Speaking of which, next month, given that we're going to try to figure out something to make this work, next month we're going to be doing movie. What did my wife say? She said, movie monster. Wait. I'm going to screw this up. It's a marathon of movie monsters in March. So figure out how you want to say that, but something on those levels. Lots of M's. And it's going to be awesome.
Just call it the March Monster Movies.
Madness. March Monster Movie Madness.
Now, we don't want the NBA on our ass.
Screw them.
That is when all the basketball people do their fancy dribbling.
Yeah, that's fine. They can dribble, and we'll talk about monsters. But we're going to review basically all the King Kongs, some of the Godzillas, because there's far too many to do all of them.
Yeah.
And then all the new Godzillas and King Kongs, all leading up to Godzilla vs. King Kong. So that should be fun. Oh, I got a new follower, Nom Nom Rob. Welcome. Thank you very much for the follow. We're struggling to do some movie reviews, but we are here. We are live, and thank you for showing up and listening. We're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about Army of Darkness, and then we'll go into Rear Window. But I was talking about the fact that we will be movie monsters throughout March, and we've been throwing around a few different ideas outside the King Kong Godzilla franchises. And my wife brought a good one up. I thought Jaws was an interesting addition. Because, that's not what a shark is like.
For sure. Wasn't that also like the first summer blockbuster?
essentially.
Huh.
So that's kind of fun in itself because we do watch a lot of blockbusters on this show. Um, oh, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you, sir. Thanks for showing up.
Gosh.
It looks like a couple guys from my work showed up to say hello, and I appreciate that, guys. That's very, very awesome. So let's see. We're going to talk about The Little Things, which is a brand new HBO movie. Sorry, not show. Star and Rami Malek. Rami Malek. I always forget how to say his name. It's a movie with big spoilers, so I think we're going to completely avoid the ending other than what we felt about it, because it's not one we want to spoil for anybody, and I have no way of telling spoilers right now, other than verbally. So what do you think, Try Guy? Do you think that's a good approach?
Yeah, I suppose. Let's keep it vague to, I just don't know if we can him and haw for like half an hour because there's not. To be fair, there's not a lot going on in this movie, and that's kind of the bit.
Say that again. You're breaking up again. Oh no. More technical difficulties.
Oh, really?
Bear with us, guys. Bear with us. We are trying something different. And we appreciate everybody here trying to bear with us, but it has been a bad week. That's why we were not on Tuesday. My computer has all but taken a dump.
The mic, does that sound better?
That sounds great, actually.
Yeah, this is the new one I got my wife.
Awesome. No, it sounds fantastic.
He's
like
fancy
right
Turtle Beach one.
Actually, it sounds better on my headset too, so I think you were causing my echo.
Ah, son of a gun.
Because I don't have echo anymore. So that's awesome. Okay, we're back up and somewhat running.
So I hear echo, but you're still coming through clear. So if that's what we got, well, I'll take it.
I'll take it too. So you were about to say something about The Little Things and why the movie is kind of hard to review without spoilers.
Oh, just because I feel like if you don't get into spoilers, you can't really talk about much because I don't think there's much going on. It's funny that you called it a show on accident at first because it feels like a Freudian slip. It feels like this was meant to be longer than like a 2.5 hour thing.
Fair.
Like this feels like a True Detective reject where they took all the good stuff out and just kind of gave you the inciting incident, the drama, and then the end. And you're like, oh, all right, well, that was a lot of little things. It didn't really add up to much.
It's funny because we talked about this, Ed. We talked about the fact that little pieces, which was really fun. So as I watched it in little pieces, I realized that I hated the movie in the beginning. I was bored. There's jarring scenes shifting that's supposed to be like dream sequences or memories, and it just didn't work for me.
Right.
It really bothered me. They were really I was like, I know what you're doing, but you could make it a little more obvious what you're trying to do instead of splicing in 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds of a scene to give me a hint at a memory okay, fine. Find a better way. So I really struggled with it in the beginning for that reason. But,
Yeah.
But as it built and as it built and as it built, it's not your typical cop serial drama, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think that's the problem too, is that it's based on the whole point of the novel is the guy like detective stories, kind of boring how they just wrap everything up neatly at the end and how they always have happy endings. And I think, it's funny, this movie made me want to read a book, and that really doesn't happen often. Usually I go into movies, literature, knowing the difference, but I've never watched a movie series. Like, I never watched Hunger Games and was like, man, I gotta read those.
I couldn't even watch those. They were so boring. No offense.
Yeah.
To anybody who loves them, but I watched the first one and was like, okay. And I love a lot of the actors, but
they're fun date movies. But that's about it.
That's fair. Good for necking in the...
Basically. Or like taking your friend that's like just got dumped, but you want to get their mind off stuff. Like, let's go see this bad movie with people you like.
Nice. Fair, and I've been to plenty of those. It's funny because I would always actually sit down and watch the horror movies, no matter how were, but yeah, kind of the dramas I'd always tune out. So,
yeah.
I felt like Malik's performance was a little. He tried. in parts. I thought his performance got better as the film progressed, but I think he couldn't find the character at first.
Interesting.
And at least that's the way it felt. Even though I know they probably didn't shoot it in that, it still just felt the way those shot. The character didn't have footing, and he changed his demeanor and dynamic film, which people do posture, but I don't know. It didn't feel like just posturing. It felt, I don't know, again, jarring. Everything in this movie was jarring, and maybe that was the point. Maybe why it was built this way.
And I think you're onto something there. Because I think that's the point of the novel and the movie is that you got like a rookie detective with a pass and a new guy that's like basically a Harvey Dent character, if you will. And they're supposed to be rubbing off on each other, and like one's going to influence the other, and the other's going to other, and sometimes they're going to feel better, sometimes they're going to make each other feel worse. And I think the problem is a lot of, well, here's just the thing I've noticed too, a lot of these movies that pre-COVID and that were given too much time in the editing room, I think they just lose the plot and forget how to spice it. Because I kind of know Wonder Woman as well. Not that terrible. I think this one's markedly better, but I just feel like you get too much time with it in the oven, and then it just kind of is becoming what you like.
That I think the end was good enough for me that I film and would like to watch it again.
Fair enough, yeah.
And again, I'm not going to say because it's one of those ones that really you should watch through and decide for yourself what you think of the end. Because, yeah, I'm happy with endings, and I was happy with this one.
I think it's worth the trip to didn't like the beginning because that's about the beginning and the end, and I did not like the middle. Up where the other department, and you could tell that he used to be there, caused problems, and you could tell that Randy was like the hot shit on the town now, and he was capped. But yeah,
no, for sure.
Everything from A to B, like I didn't say I was disinterested, but I was definitely wondering where we were gonna get. Things got revealed, and the movie, picked up its pace.
Never did that. Kept the exact throughout the whole. 9-inch of it kind of threw me. Expected, but no. Denzel, I don't know which he doesn't. Jared Leto. You don't. And I mean, like, he plays the creep you think in the movie, but down the street and you see the crap that he's like was in real life.
Or like someone you were used to like hang out with people. You had mutuals and always gave you like the TVs.
Actually look greasy.
Oh yeah,
really hard to pull off in a movie. He greasy, and I think what he did was he just didn't shower because he looked genuine. Yeah. I'm willing to bet that he didn't shower for the role. If he's a method actor, the way I've heard, 2 weeks, and then we'll start shooting, and then y'all pee in style. Some more. Yeah, gnarly.
What you love about the guy? To the roles, even if you don't, and like he
does. He also tortures his coworkers, though, which
I've never seen Jared Lee where I was just like, I don't know, he phoned it in. One of the worst ones I've seen him in. I can't remember the name of the movie, but he shot John Lennon.
Number. Hold on.
Number something, number right?
28? No.
Right. Maybe number 19?
But you're talking about...
But that... I didn't like... I could tell he, like, worked his ass.
Wait.
Yeah, he was chubby. That was kind of weird.
It is weird for him.
It's kind of like a generic Daniel, if you think about it.
Like millennial version.
Daniel Day-Lewis and Jared Cola.
I was thinking like RC. He at least gets RC
maybe.
Status.
Well, I wouldn't give him status, but like good in
name brand.
RC?
Yeah, that's RC Cola. Yeah, RC is not name brand. RC is popular non-name brand. That's why it's name brand. So it's
the fact that it's what I would say. Like in terms of actors that didn't go anywhere, Riot.
But Daniel Day-Lewis is gone. He retired.
Right. All your buck. I still like Shout. I feel like that's an insult. I just feel of both. You more diverse and versatile things, whereas Daniel Day-Lewis is only in it for like not big bucks, but big performances and budgets and casts.
Yeah, no, and he wanted to best performance, and of course he wanted the best people for that.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm not very good at this third. Do this. Anyway, I'm trying to. That's a weird way to look at the screen. us in a different position in the Minecraft game because I realize I'm just boring everybody that's coming by to say hi.
Yes.
Desperate times, exactly. So again, if you're just seeing us for the first time tonight, we are actually still streaming about movies, not Minecraft. But I thought maybe I'd come in here and you could look at my fish tank while I talk about movies. Here's the stand. You guys can there enjoy my. Okay, really? Cup. That's gross. That's gross, guy. Nobody invited you, man. Pardon me. If I've ever seen one. The little things, yeah, you're right. There's not. Oh man, this is a hard movie to really review because I mean, we can say, hey, check it out. You like other crime drama, an R-rated touch? Definitely check it out. I wouldn't say it's the grittiest. I like the way the story was, and I'm big, huge on endings. Movies gotta have a good ending to me.
So I will say this in the category. I think the ending is worth the trip to get there, but the thing with little things is it tries to be the sort of in Zodiac one thriller about having those moments like where like you see the trials or like you get to see fragments of what may have happened. It doesn't have any of that, and so it really is. It's like a person drama, and then you sort of have to kind of suss out what happens in between.
I think there's a reason. Don't.
Well, for sure. It's a theme.
I didn't get that feeling. Much more like, and I think again you were kind of right when I said accidentally show.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a really NCIS or something.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Like a high production quality CSI or something. But just a good episode.
What's wild to me is people have been dogging this movie hard.
I wouldn't have dogged it that hard. Beginning, if you didn't like the beginning, it might not draw you in, but it definitely has some different tones than you expect in the beginning. There's actually a religious element to the film.
Yeah, right.
And it's actually surrounding the police department, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't think that's very spoily.
No, that's a good setting up the theme. But for me too, also like I literally got HBO Max just to rewatch Game of Thrones and watch Wonder Woman and wait for Godzilla. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman was good, so like for this to pop up, I'm pleasantly surprised. Like, I feel like that's worth enough for the people that want to hop in between now and like the end of February. This would be worth a good watch and maybe even a rewatch.
But definitely, I would, because it's got 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it comes out at the end of the month.
So that's that'll be difficult. The cat. I can't be in here. The cats are in here. I'm just hearing cats everywhere.
Uh-oh.
That's gonna ruin this. I never looked to see if you're coming through this. I need to make sure you are.
Oh, it'd be really awful.
Start speaking.
Am I coming through?
You are coming through, okay?
Yeah.
Checked, but yes, you are.
Here, hang on. Let me see if I can fix this. I can turn your volume up and down. That's kind of nice.
Nice. All right, so that's boring, but we can look like this beautiful house, but stay with it. The cats were getting to me too, guys. So yeah, moving on.
What did you know this movie? You said the beginning, but can you elaborate on that without spoiling things?
Yeah. Yes, I can. I would say that I didn't. What I said about the jarring scenes of the memories and stuff. I didn't like Rami Malek's performance in the beginning. I really, those two things drew me out. But I was just like, man, am I just bored and not want to care about like is that what I'm at? I kept, I want to do it for the show, and I became pleasantly surprised. So I was happy to see it.
That's so odd, because a lot of people got to that point, and then I feel like in a lot of the reviews that I've read, they got past his performance, and I feel like too many. And I think it's that Rami Malek mainstream now. He's done enough things that too many kind of see him as like or shoehorned. And wasn't as good as Mr. Robot or Bohemian or whatever the hell. And I don't like doing that to
Yeah,
actors.
but that's not fair. It's
Exactly.
like hating an actor for, and people do. People have run people out of that crap.
People do that
Oh
to
yeah, okay.
Sam. I can't play a scumbag, but I'm a lovable hero guy. You know?
I love him as Bob Beeblebrox, Hitchhiker's Guide to
Oh,
the Galaxy.
yeah. I totally forgot that was him. The first I had no idea who the hell he was.
But he has definitely gotten shafted. But you remember the kid from Game of Thrones?
Joffrey
Yeah, he quit because of the way people treated him.
sucks because that also happened to young Anakin.
Almost killed himself over it. It also happened to Ahmed Best.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but bringing their hearts out, and if they've done, that's fine. Turn the page, change the channel, but don't
well, what I
attack
don't
them.
get
Don't be
too
bullies.
is if they haven't done, let them do more before you totally like. There's some people that have been around for a while that you can be like, all right, I don't like their stuff, no matter who they're playing with, or but like give it time.
I agree. People are so judgmental, you know,
Yeah,
is and what isn't, you know, but whatever. So this movie, maybe we should just kind of. Oh, hey, you joined my.
I haven't played this in for.
You are gonna be in a really. Well, you're at the castle. I'll be there in a second.
I'm really slow. What the hell? Oh, I'm
Take it away.
crouched. Well, that's awkward.
The game crashed.
Hmm?
The game crashed.
No, I was crouched. I was wondering why I was going so freaking slow.
Oh, okay, crouched. Okay.
Yeah. I am now looking at a
Yeah.
pupper.
You should be looking at a giant castle, I believe.
Yeah, but there's a pupper here, so.
Okay. Yeah, this is one of my first
What
maps.
is this? There's like llamas
What?
in a closet?
So that's my. You can go down the way there.
Whoa,
This,
okay.
this is one of my early Minecraft builds that I've still been building on over the years.
I've never been good at this. I've never understood this, but I've always appreciated the thing that it brought to people.
Oh, dude, I can teach you this on a level that'll blow your mind. You can actually do. You can build a quad core computer in this game.
Damn.
Working. Working.
Huh.
It's like right here. Look right here. Look right
Oh,
here. I know this is totally an aside, guys. We're gonna definitely be talking about movies, but Ed has never played this, so we gotta check this out. Anyway, this system that I've got here, which is actually one of the simplest systems in Minecraft, is you put food or whatever you want to smelt right up there in that chest. You put a bunch of, pardon me, you put a bunch of coal in this back chest,
uh,
and then every time you put stuff in that top chest, it'll cook it for you, and it drops it right into this chest right here.
wow.
You don't have to do anything else. You just put it in there and walk away, come back, get your stuff, and keep moving.
Your castle
So
is
this
full of a
castle,
lot of neat little things. Ha
I love it. Anyway, yeah. So there's Ed Fry, as the Fry guy.
Oi, I probably just look like regular Steve.
So you do. You look like Steve, just like I do. So. But yeah, we even marked out where the spawn point was, which is where you spawned right here, right? I believe. Yeah. Anyway, so we are gonna move from the little things because we don't want to spoil some of the stuff, and if we talk about too much, because it's a crime drama and always mystery surrounding those kinds of tropes in films, I think it would be really unfortunate for us to just go off on it. We can go much further into the other two films because they've been out for a long time, and we could probably put them in ways that aren't so spoily even. But not that either of them have spoilers. They're kind of both wildly predictable. Anyway, um, the little things, I would rate it a solid 7.
A solid what?
A solid 7.
Solid 7? That sounds about right. I'd say 7 or 6.5. I feel like I'd like it more if I watched it again. I just don't have the energy to give it another viewing quite yet. So I'll probably it was
Right.
on sale.
I like it. I like it.
I'd give it a solid, like in my thing, I'd give it like a thumbs up and like a definitely watch it.
I think everybody should see it. If you like Denzel, watch it. If Jared Leto, please watch it. If you like Remy Malek, I'm curious what you have to say, because it sounds like we're having trouble with it. I had a little trouble with it. I think his performance was a little, like I said, a little. No, that's not the word. Forced in the beginning, but for whatever reason, he seemed to relax into the character and embody the character in the long term. Solid 7. Probably a movie I'll forget I watched.
That's fair.
No offense to any Boris.
This is also a real stressful
Army.
time. Can't remember shit about Wonder Woman, and I like that movie. It's just I can only remember the parts I liked, and that's about it.
You know, when I really, really like a movie, the parts that I like are the ones that I watched the movie for, and I found myself watching through certain parts going, come on, come on. And then you get to the good part, and you're like, yeah, this is really good, and then it stops doing, you're like, oh, come on, next scene. That's just sad, but, you know, nowadays you can just fast forward or edit it down or whatever you want. But
Right.
So let's talk Army of Darkness. Did Fry Girl get a chance to watch through the flicks?
No, she got super busy, and she hasn't. I don't think she's seen. I think she still only watched part of the first one and the second one.
Okay.
It's a shame because I really think she'd like the 2013 one.
That's right up her alley. That's her kind of horror.
But she also likes I don't want to call it girl power movies, but girl power movies.
Well, yeah, and that is definitely one. Um, yeah, agree. So, Army of Darkness. In previous weeks, we've gone through the original Evil Dead. We went through Evil Dead 2. And then, of course, in week 3, Ed was not here, so we had to skip over. But we're back to the Evil Dead franchise, and we're on Army of Darkness. Next week, of course, will be Evil Dead 2013, which I'm not 100% sure I'm ready to go back through, but hey, I'm going to do it anyway. And it's not because it's been a while since I've seen it, but the last time I was a parent, and the time before that I wasn't. So I've had to make adjustments when it comes to horror films and the way I approach them, the way I watch them. I think I said that about Freaky, the way that the beginning of the movie happened.
Yeah.
It impacted me 2 or 3 years ago. I felt for the parents. It freaked me out. So I love that you're just running around me. That's hilarious.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Aw. Aw. Oh, you're ruining my world.
What? I'm not even doing anything. I'm just running around.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, I just tore a hole in the ground for no reason, but whatever, we'll leave it. So, Army of Darkness, 1992, written and directed by Sam Raimi. The sort of sequel to the Evil Dead original and the definite sequel to Evil Dead 2. Considered probably one of the greatest horror comedies of all time. Classic, iconic. Those are words that come to thinking about this film. Hey, Just Jesse, how we doing? I'm glad to see you here. We are struggling to have our setup the way it should. I'm sitting in Minecraft while talking about movies. So if you don't care what you're looking at, you just want to hear us, we're going to talk about Army of Darkness. So this is the perfect time to join us. Welcome.
Now, what is it rated?
It is rated R.
See, I thought it was rated PG-13.
Oh, no. It's R. Hard R.
Really?
Hard.
Because it is not.
Came out in 92.
That's what I'm saying, though. There's so much stuff in there that just seems kind of especially by today's standards.
That's what I'm saying. See, the movies in 92, even though it's like, oh, it was the 90s. Yeah, the 90s were a weird time. So let's take a look. It is rated R.
See, now that's weird.
21 minutes.
I swear to God, I have a DVD that says it's rated PG-13, and I wonder if I just got like a freaking video version of the TV edit.
Interesting. You might have. So it would probably even just be a knockoff, wouldn't it?
Well, it was a regular movie, and I think the only thing that was different was maybe the amount of blood from the pit scene, and the rest is like the same, including the jokes and the language.
Yeah, he does drop the F bomb two or more times,
Well, I don't remember
maybe
that.
three times. He definitely tells. Okay, so at one point, he's coming back from getting the Necronomicon, walking up to get some water because he's whooped, and he's like, yeah, great, yeah, great, all right, get the fuck out of my way, he says, and pushes a guy aside and gets his water, and that's when they start saying, hey, Necronomicon, did you say the words? Well, they don't say that yet, but
Right.
they go into the Necronomicon. I've seen this movie way too many times. I could
That's weird.
probably
I
list
do
you
not
some
remember that at
from beginning to
all.
end.
I
Yeah.
see. I thought it was PG-13 because I thought there was only one F bomb.
Yeah, but remember, this is pre F bomb rules about PG-13.
I don't remember that actually. I thought that was just always a freaking thing.
No, because, okay, right around the time, pardon me, right around the time that I was a teenager, so this is 92, I was 15 years old.
Woo!
Yeah, you guys can do.
I was one.
So, so I'm 15 years old and seeing movies and going, oh, that's weird, PG-13. That's new because when I was a little kid, there was PG and R. That was it. And it was general audience, basically, where most of the cartoons ended up, where every kind of stuff ended up because the kids couldn't watch it, but they had guidance. And basically, like, if you're not 17, we probably won't care anyway, but if you look like you're a little kid, we might stop you, is basically what it was when but that was true for, they didn't care about movies. 90s, man, it's weird looking back now, though, and go, wow.
Real freak.
It was, yeah. They're really freaked me out. Speaking of Max, did you ever watch the documentary about the like
No.
in Jersey? But you have to watch it as soon as possible. It is a perfect snapshot of what the 1980s were like, and not in a positive way. Because let us do whatever. I mean, I remember even when I was 8 years old, just walked wherever, however I wanted. Nobody stopped. It was a weird world.
Yeah, I've heard stories of people like go with a note from their parents saying they can borrow cigarettes. Careful.
There was a Shell station right out of high school. I stopped there every morning. They didn't give a shit, dude. Not once.
That's so wild.
Yeah, and then I would stand outside the liquor store and ask, different people, to help, buy us, and they would, and we rarely ever got caught. But the kid was doing it. It was pretty much just the way of the thing. Like, it was how it went. So the whole idea, it's like, well, why did you start smoking? I was like, because nobody stopped me. Like, nobody was going to stop me. What do you mean, why did I start smoking? Like, why didn't you? No, I'm kidding, of course. Please don't smoke. It's good. But that's what I was like when I was a teenager. I was a total turd. Anyway. Talking about Campbell. Very, very great actor, in my opinion, even though he gets, people, think he's ridiculous. I do too, but I think when he wants to.
Campbell?
Did you say it again?
Campbell? Bruce?
Yeah, can bring it when he wants to. He can act.
Yeah, I haven't really seen anything bad. I just think he has like different parts, whether they're bit or main or, supporting.
Have you watched Burn Notice?
No, that's one list, my bucket list.
One, I never thought I'd like a USA show. Ever.
Wasn't Psych a
That's
USA show?
I never watched Psych.
I've heard good.
But I never thought I would. And I'll tell you, I like the main character. And then, of course, Bruce Campbell plays Sam, his
Oh,
and he's fantastic. And, a little overweight and with a drinking problem. His ex-spy guy.
that sounds like a good role for him.
It works really well. So, this role, though, for him, if you notice, he got his in this movie, right? He hadn't quite done it, but in this one, his hair became cover to those romance novels perfectly.
Yeah.
And even the scenes where he, give me some sugar, baby, like that is totally right off the front of every novel you've ever. and I love this movie. But the movie itself, compared to the other two, I don't like it as much.
Oh, that's fun.
You, you
I think it still
but
is
open yours.
mine, but just because I don't know. Out of all of them in the series, if we're adding the new one and two, I think those are really well done in technical aspect and just execution. I feel like this movie is what every movie has to do now with the funny action horror, like juggling genres and being witty and shit like that.
Yeah,
This one really was like the to the backbones of the prototype before we got to like everything we have now.
I agree. The thing that in its place, it's still one of my favorite movies. It's still amazing. It's not in my top 50 because Evil Dead 2 is.
Ah,
I can't justify putting both of them up there. Um,
I mean, you could
but
if we go by that multiple Ash theory that we were working on.
speaking of which, I want to go off on a tangent about Zootopia, so just give me a second.
Oh, all right. I will sit here patiently with the
Because
doggo.
I was for a while, so I don't know if you can get him to sit up, but try if you'd like with a left
Ah!
trigger. Nope, left trigger.
Nah, he's just.
Don't kill my dog. Anyway,
I don't think I can.
so
Can I?
yeah, you can.
Oh, that's messed
Yeah,
up.
he's my.
If it can happen here.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, because he is right next to underground. It's dark, so let's keep him up here and not underground. Oh, I forgot about that llama.
Yeah, right. It's scary.
Um. So, pardon me. I'm gonna go on Zootopia, but we were saying something before the dog situation.
Oh, Army of Darkness to your top 50s because multiple Evil Dead ashes.
We do it mostly because the film for me lost that charm I had when I was younger, and the charm was essentially that. Wow, pardon me. That was really a lot. I apologize.
What?
The belched. I
Oh,
don't know
I
if you
had.
heard it, but
Did it.
yes, I had to. I did a good job of keeping it down, but uh, the movie had such and I used to love the ridiculousness. Nowadays, I giggle at the ridiculousness, but then I go, it's almost Sam and tried, and while that worked, it doesn't work when I'm trying to for the best films to put in my top 50.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? I know that's a harsh critique, but
I
I
think it
just don't feel the
does.
same way about it. Um,
I mean, you're
okay,
entitled to change your opinion too.
it's true. When I watch it next year, because I usually watch it at least once a year, I will do that. But for right now, it's probably again that I'm a parent now, and oh no, it's. I love the slapstick in it. I think one of my favorite scenes in the entire film is the skeleton scene when he goes through the whole Three Stooges with the skeleton hands.
Yeah.
I love that scene. The other absolute best scene is when he dealing with the other Ash, um, and so he runs into the windmill and has this big blowout with the little tiny ashes. And I think the funniest thing in my life is when he gets inside the windmill and closes the door, and it's the thing the Evil Dead is trying to get through the door at him, right?
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and just screaming and screaming at nothing, and it's really a riot. Um, but maybe I've seen the joke too many times. It is now.
That could be. I
Maybe.
have a prediction though.
Okay.
I think when your kid gets old enough to start watching these and you watch it with them, their enjoyment of Army of Darkness is going to make you feel like you have some sort of permission to like it as you used to again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I tried to get my daughter to watch Star Wars. She watched The Crawl. As soon as the laser blast hit, so I was like, all right.
So
A little more of that.
I think you're way in, man.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Just because it's smaller bite size and way less of a movie experience. Mando's basically just like
Mm-hmm.
side show.
Mm.
And kind of like how Army of
Absolutely.
Darkness was my introduction into the Evil Dead franchise. Like, I don't think I would have liked the other if I didn't start off on that because I wasn't horror until I was like basically 20.
It's interesting because most people jump into horror when there's. That's usually when people like it. Not saying there's anything wrong with jumping in it. I know I found horror at. My dad watched A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, in front of me when I was 8. He didn't do it on purpose, but I kept trying to figure out what he was watching. I was really interested because it was freaky, and he was really freaked out by it. So, and this is like a full blown first sergeant military man. Like he was freaked out by it. It's like, all right, let's see if this is. And of course, it ended up being one of my favorite horror franchises because of it.
Huh. Yeah,
My first experience with Friday the 13th, I threw up.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. I was 8 as well.
interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was the 80s and 90s. Had babysitters that didn't know what the rules were. So, um, yeah. So, Army of Darkness. I want to hear your take on it.
I mean, like, I think it's. I wouldn't say it's my favorite in the city. Enjoy watching the most and more than anything. Because, like I said, that's the one I started with, and I think I was like 9 at the time I watched it. And having not been a horror movie liking person, I didn't like getting a lot of stuff. Just didn't scare me for a while there. But I was super into video games, and it had a lot of Doom essence, like I got from Game Darkness. I recognized that in the boomstick and the chainsawingness and the and that kind of just carried me through. And then, of course, like once you get through like a quarter of the movie, it stops being so scary, and you kind of just conflict with some comedy sprinkled throughout. That made it a lot more palatable for me.
The things that I love about the fact that Sam Raimi takes tropes at the time and literally throws them out the window. So there's 2 different guns in the movie. Double barreled shotgun that's sawed off that he uses from Evil Dead 2
Mm-hmm.
with a hair trigger. Shop smart. Shop S smart. And then he uses the rifle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the rifle, I believe, is going to be like a 5-shot. One of those, old
Oh, the
Western
lever
style
one?
cocks.
That thing's
Yeah.
like 7 to 9 at most. But I know you're getting that.
Right. The shotgun is obviously a double barrel. 2 shots. Done. Right? And it depends on which trigger you pull.
Yeah, one barrel at a time, but at most, no more than 2 flying out of there.
Right. So, when convenient in that movie, he runs out of ammo. When convenient in the movie, he also never runs.
Yeah, that
And it
whole
really
well
changes.
scene was really badass. Just because, like, even seeing him go to town on that freaking well witch and like shooting, I think 6 or 7 times before he even tried to attempt to reload. I was still like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that gets really cool for me.
No, I agree. There, I'm thinking another. See, okay, you're making me love the movie again. So another one of my apps cutting the hand off that, the deadite, not the witch, but the deadite that comes out of the wall.
Yeah,
He cuts the hand off, sticks to the old guy's face, and the blacksmith starts busting. I love that part.
that's it's great. Honestly, like as far as movie, I know that you were not a fan of how the ending to and the beginning of Darkness is not. It's not. You enjoy the start to Army of Darkness. I feel like there's a good inciting incident, drama involved. They throw enough there to like be like, oh, how's this gonna? And even if you don't think Ash is in any, I like the way they did that. I prefer that much more than just the gargoyle and then him like capping it and then being hailed as a hero. Um, Mostly just because, like,
I
when he first pops up, they do not trust this dude at all, especially when there's like magic shit happening in the world.
No, I agree. It is. There's more to it, and they were able to build the story. Obviously, it's very much like they did with Back to the Future. Although Back to the Future, they were like, with the end of Evil Dead 2, you're pretty much like, oh no, that could be the end. You would never have to have a sequel. That
Right.
could be the end of the film. And so
And now I
I
like to
do
think
get
so
that.
because of the conversation we had. I like to think that there's just a future where he went back and he shot a freaking gargoyle thing, and they were like, "Oh, all hail," and then that was it.
And then when we come into Army, it's a whole nother Ash.
Yeah.
Kind of like The One. Jet Li's The One.
Oh, thought about that movie in forever. I think I've only seen that twice.
I like Delroy Lindo a lot. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't. Why is that not ringing a bell?
So there's three actors that play in there's many more actors, but there's three big actors in that movie. Jet Li, Jason Statham, and
Mm-hmm.
Delroy Lindo. Jason Statham's partner.
Oh.
So I like that guy. It's harder to review than Evil Dead 2. Because there's nothing to do with taking the movie apart.
I will admit, there's a lot of dated shit in that movie. Its structure, its jokes, the effects. I think this is the least technical one out of all of them. Even the first indie, you could tell from the budget and the passion they had behind it. This one seemed more like movie by committee. Stuff
Agreed.
that has to do with the little mini ashes and like some of the special effects and some of the weird sound effects. You can tell this is a lot more lowest common denominator casual appealing. And I think it succeeds in that for the most part. But I also have to admit,
It,
there's a time with this that holds up better than I thought it would, because small tangent. I just recently bought a bunch of the Duke Nukem games and have been replaying
mhm.
those, and that's basically just a freaking series meant to be like edgy Duke quotes from other movies. And Duke Nukem literally steals lines from Ash in Evil Dead
Oh, yeah.
and Army of Darkness, and I couldn't help but like I cringed shit coming out of John St. John's mouth just because it wasn't Bruce Campbell. Like something about that guy, he's got the charisma and the press
Oh,
say
yeah.
dumb shit like "Give me some sugar, baby," and like it's stupid, but when you see it there, it's cool. But when it's a Duke or
But
like
you're
there's
almost like, do I want to give him some sugar baby? You're thinking about it. You might want to,
yeah right.
right? You're considering it.
It's just there's
So
something
I'm
about
with
that's like it's some good freaking cheese. Like Duke Nukem's
Dude,
government cheese, some whack ass
okay.
cheese, but Army of Darkness
I
is like
agree.
some primo shit.
I will tell you right now that Bruce Campbell exudes that person. So
Oh,
yeah, he like I walked up to him and was just like, "Oh, dude, you are Bruce Campbell. Like, no, you don't just play Bruce Campbell. You are." And I didn't mean it like that because he's still a dude and he still has his life, but he is that guy. He's not doing too much to stretch out as an actor at the time.
that's awesome.
So yeah, he was really cool and he's always so a guy as a human. And I say, as far as I know, falling apart for people that I thought I loved, but don't do that another time.
That'll be a little we can do.
Well, I do probably should maybe, as a huge Buffy fan, maybe want to just say that, yeah, Joss Whedon go eat whatever terrible things that hellish people get to go eat. I don't want much, except that I am not going to separate myself from loving the heart of the shows into the movies that he was associated with. And worked on them, and we should not canceling works be persons. Terrible, terrible. That's all I'm going to say on that personally. But anyway, it's been a hard week for me with all that since I have been a big Joss Whedon fan for years. So just trying to reconcile.
What's wild about
real
that?
life stuff.
That on my radar, all the shenanigans over Fritz League, believe it or not.
Me too.
Uh, oh damn, I know his name, but I'm drawing.
Ray.
Fisher. Yeah, he was saying that there was some hanky shit going on, and then even Jason Momoa was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay," and then a couple other people were going in support, and they wanted to cut him out of something. I think they were cutting him out of some of Zack Snyder's. I don't know if he's gonna now because of all the other stuff coming out about him, and I hate that too when like someone, and then instead of just believing him and waiting to hear more,
Yep.
I
They
think just
rushed it now. It's pretty much going to remotely. Yeah. No. Disassociated. Sorry, dude. You don't later.
yeah. I've been
Give me a
always
single
worried that
dime out of
something's
me.
going to happen with Raimi or like that I grew up watching. For whenever they pop in, then I always like my heart sinks because I'm like, oh no, and then it's usually something good, fun, and I'm like, oh thank God.
And that's where I'm at right now because There are even people from those worlds that kind of bother. I'm trying not to go down this road too hard, but it's something universe of the Avengers and the pop culture, and now to reconcile that, but get rid of the works or not view them or enjoy what I've enjoyed because of some stupid assholes' choices. Um, um, you're gone. That's just the way it is.
Right.
And I'm sorry to who had to deal with any of his. That is just not okay. There's nothing good or that can be said to even apologize for that shit. But anyway, I'm just sitting over here on a shitty little soapbox talking to Ed about movies. Okay, back on trending. Bruce Campbell, fuckhead, not a terrible person, and one guy to watch on TV and in the movies. I think the shotgun scene still stands out to me. Just iconic scenes in the film where he holds up, explains the entire.
This is my
boomstick. Because some movies, the characters take forever to hesitate to adapt. He knew immediately what he needed to do. He's like, "Yep, I'm the one with the chemicals. I'm thinking I can make them." He built robotics in the past.
Well, I think they could just a regular ass. But he's a smart dude. In the first movie and the second movie, he's got his wits about him.
He does,
and he did seem like
pretty
freaking
well in
nerd.
crisis. He did.
He's definitely like the stealth.
I'm willing to bet he's the kid that had an Apple in high school. I'm saying the character, Cash character. Nobody knows, but he was a total computer. Love the science books though, in the trunk of the car. Like, one, why were they there? Two, when can you get guns from a high school textbook?
In a different time.
And then the helicopter car, which I thought shots were really impressive. I mean, that's where really for them. So
right.
And did you know Sam Raimi and his brother are in the film again?
No, you told me about his brother being someone in the well, I believe, but I did not recognize either of them.
His brother plays the witch in
the one that claimed.
Yeah, Sam Raimi's little brother plays him or her, and then in this one, just one of the guys that holds up his. I'll give you my just a one-off, nothing. He's also in that scene. Enough people to fill like on set, so he even jumped out there. Fun little tidbit, snidbits. Previews, Utopia.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna talk. So, my daughter watches a lot of kids' movies, like most kids do. I have the privilege of, she watches, try to turn on something. She doesn't like that. If I, so I Utopia literally dozens of times. I'm talking about like a casual. I'm talking about I've sat with her because I get so just like, okay, I'll just whoops. Watch the film even once, you realize it's a film about racism or prejudice. And the and how stereotype, how they happen. Great message for kids because it teaches you inclusivity and how not to judge people based upon what they look like, and it's a really, really great film. Taking that aside, I've realized that the whole world, the universe of Zootopia, is one of two things. One, either it's so far in the future humans are extinct and animals have evolved, and that's all that's left. Or this is a giant biodome with all of these animals inside being run on a giant experiment, all under the impression that they evolved. But I have proof for both within the film.
Interesting.
There are multiple references to human-related colloquialisms and jokes. That wouldn't just think out of nowhere from animals who just evolved naturally. All of the things are still here.
Mm.
They get these ideas. We also never talk about anything except for Zootopia and cities, outlying counties. They never talk about anything in the greater world. And these animals can revert back to just being animals, as we know from the film. So, if something as simple as this toxin can revert them, wouldn't the reverse toxin be what made them that in the first place?
Mm, I suppose.
How many times have you seen it?
Like maybe three or four.
Okay, so several. There are some really, really interesting lines out. So,
Well, I mean, the
yeah.
problem I think is that it's also just a cute kids movie, and so this is the problem I can't analyze because like that's why the racism like hold up. Because in nature we do have predator prades, and art on it. It just kind of makes things really weird and little stuff. There's a lot of cute elements, like who the villain turns out to be, and like the things we get there, and the movie references and all that, which Disney movies do. But I think there's a some people just have too much fun coming up with these things and kind of like miss the point, or also kind of bastardize the thing, I guess. Like the people that come up with the theory about how all the Rugrat kids are dead or whatever, or that Nettie Cul-de-sac is like died in a different era or something. There's a bunch of weird things like that. And like I think at some point it's fun to do that. It's fun to dabble in those things. But on the other hand, like it is a kid's and it's like real soft. Like, hey, don't be prejudiced, some negative preconceived notions.
And I agree with you. And the first 48 times I saw that's what I thought of it. But then I started just sitting there bored. And I was just like, huh, that's really weird. Why do I get the feeling this is Pauly Shore's Biodome, but really dark?
Hmm.
Or Truman Show. I don't know, it's just really getting. So, I don't know. I get what you're saying, but that's where I'm at. Theories. If I come up with.
Huh, okay. I mean, I could see where both of those could have like a little bit of credence to them. Also, the whole just because there's a thing that makes them freak out and get all animalistic. I don't know if that has too much merit, just because like Florida people have been known to snap and eat each other's faces, and like I don't know, nothing really made us quote unquote civilized, depending on who you ask and what species you're talking to. But
That is very fair, sir. That is very fair.
yeah, it's a fun theory
I
though.
just. I needed to put that out to somebody, so.
Watch Utopia and go over that because I want to spoil the shit out of that movie because I think it's got some fun elements and stuff that I've only noticed more and more the more I've watched it.
Well, I think maybe in April we could do some kids flicks. I think that might be the way to go.
There we go.
So we'll just plan ahead for that. I've got plenty of them. You've got plenty of them. We've got a lot. There are a lot of. Army of Dark, not not an easy movie to review, just because either you haven't, if you haven't seen it, telling you about it isn't going to really help you.
You can't really spoil it either because, like, I feel like a lot of movies from that era, you know how they're going to end. You don't watch them to be surprised by something. You watch them for the experience. Roller coaster rides.
And yeah, if you walk into that movie and don't expect it to be a hero's tale, you don't know what you're watching.
That's literally the era of movies where you can judge a book by the cover or by the poster, and that's one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look what the hell you're getting into.
Agreed. Um, totally agree. The thing that bother tropes too far later on and turn them on their head. Um, that's the norm. Okay, that's the thing when I was watching the Godzilla films. It's almost like he's a role playing character or anything but roll 20s
Mm.
in every situation. And it becomes like, okay, so the only time characters die in these big blockbuster movies is when they have to sacrifice themselves or something to that effect. It's never a known character. If you see a known character and they establish that they have a speaking role and that they're nice to somebody, they're not to die unless it's at the end of the film in a heroic way or by sacrificing themselves.
I don't think that's true. Which one are you referring to?
I'm saying in general. That is a general rule of the films.
Mm.
And I can now the thing about the films that the newer one, King Kong, is they don't fuss around on the body count. It's not like San Andreas
Yeah.
where they're like millions of people are dying, but you don't see any of them at all. Like there'd be people floating
Yeah,
in the water.
The Godzilla movies too, like its natural disaster, which I like. That's one of the big things I like. Is
Mm-hmm.
like the first time it's landfall, he causes a freaking. That's what's something,
Oh,
yeah, something that big. They do that. I also like he's got big chunky thighs because that just seems like something a sea creature would have.
I think the reason that I'm a Kong person is I get it. I understand Godzilla's a good guy, all that stuff. But I think the heart, the every iteration I've seen has always been so beautiful to the character and makes me fight for us. And he's always done so wrong in the stories, and totally betrayed by us. My heart even goes out further to him. Again, that's probably true about Godzilla, and I haven't seen it as I should, but I digress.
Like about the way they portray Kong and Godzilla is they really tackling Kong, which I know you don't like, but I like that they have a lot of animalistic tendencies for Kong, and I think that always gets lost. But like, I do like movies where there are hero animals that don't necessarily act like it. They're just right time, right place. Jurassic Park is a perfect example of that. The T-Rex can
Mm-hmm.
be seen as like a savior or a hero thing, but it starts off terrorizing a bunch of kids and eating a freaking lawyer.
Right.
Because it's just an animal. That's all it is. It's not there to like do right or do wrong. It just is.
But see, that's not what I get from King Kong. If you go and watch the 33, which I'm not sure if you've seen, or if you watch the 72 version, Kong isn't a gorilla. He's an anomaly. He's King Kong, and he's smarter than a gorilla. So when they made him into a gorilla in 2005, I was like, cute, too small, and no, it didn't work. It still felt like he was just a gorilla, but with a good heart, and that's not King Kong. That's a gorilla. If you want to watch that, go watch Mighty Joe Young. They made that movie. Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my point.
No, but I don't like Mighty Joe Young. I works better when he's more animalistic than he is just like deity. Same thing with Godzilla. Like,
Interesting.
I like Godzilla because it off as an allegory for being anti-nuclear. This
Right.
was the fallout for our era of atomic testing and atomic power,
We
and
are we are Godzilla. The United
yeah,
States is Godzilla
yeah. I
because we
dig the
attacked
shit out
Tokyo.
of that. And I dig the
No, I
shit
like
out
it
of
too.
Kong when he's more animalistic. And, like, I like it when he's deified, but he's still just, like, a creature that is beyond our comprehension and, petty worship and blah, 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 blah. I prefer those kind of things versus just he's smart and is
Yeah.
mythical, you know? But I also like sea
I'm
monsters and regular monsters and kaijus and whatnot.
I'm said. So I think we're going to definitely be reviewing all the King Kong movies. As many of the Godzillas that are going to be relevant, so we'll probably do like the OG the OG Godzilla, the maybe one that's got Rodan and things in it, and then we'll jump forward. The question is, do we want to do the what well-known and typically hated Godzilla 1998 version?
It might as well. I don't like it, but it's still fun to watch.
It has its weird parts that are great, and then a lot of it's crap.
I like the cast,
Right?
and that's about it.
I think amazing in it.
I think the monster design's kind of dumb. I think the story's really dumb. I think the payoffs aren't really payoffable. And yeah,
It was a grab.
I can understand why Japan, Toho Company were like, nah, we're going to take the rights away and you guys don't get to play with that for a couple decades.
It looks like Legendary Pictures has proven themselves, though.
It took a while, and thankfully they didn't, just throw it to anyone, because there are some people that totally would have done the same shit again, just flashier. I am glad Abrams has not had a chance to touch Godzilla,
Oh, oh.
because I'm sure they would want him to, especially after Cloverfield. I bet there was talk, and they were like, let's see his
Wait.
portfolio? No.
Are you saying you? Okay, let me ask you a very specific question. Are you saying keep J.J. Abrams away from this project, or I don't like J.J. Abrams on projects? Which one of those are you saying?
Just keep him away from that. He does his own stuff well. He does mystery and sci-fi, and Godzilla does not need to be either.
Okay.
Godzilla just needs to be allegory, and then you can pepper in some nice destruction and whatnot, and do like the disaster porn. or a heartfelt message, but it's got a base that I don't think JJ would do justice. I think he would do his own spin on it, and it would be unique. But I wouldn't like it as far as like I think it would be like watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie in terms of enjoying the game. It'd be that kind of thing. But like, how the hell get to this?
Oh, I don't know, dude. Um, we are at 80 minutes. I would like to take a rest and come back and talk about Rear Window. You down with a couple of minute break?
Sure. Do we want to do a Army of Darkness rating real quick?
We can do that. You go first.
I'd give it like a solid 9. I'd watch the shit out of this movie. I could watch that movie. It's one of those movies I could put in my rotation, either have it on in the background or like sit down and legitimately watch and enjoy it. And like I said, there's stuff that I didn't notice. Like I totally didn't notice any F bombs in the movie, and that's probably just because I got really swept into it. And like
Hmm.
I haven't watched any of these things piecemeal. I sat down and watched them all, and yeah, it was kind of like going back in time. It was really nice.
That's awesome. I like it. I'm still gonna give it a 10. I've watched it a million times. I'm gonna probably watch it a million times more. So it remains a 10. Um, Even if I don't like it as much as Evil Dead 2, it still remains a special place in my heart.
And I think I'll add,
Fantastic.
it was better going off the other ones and getting to this one versus where I just watched it and then found the other ones at different times. There was something
We just
nice
got
about
rated.
going from what?
We just got rated. Lady Crossheart just rated us with 8 viewers. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
We
We've been just kind of sitting here with a terrible situation. As you can see, we're playing Minecraft. That's not true. We're actually reviewing movies, but we're stuck doing it in a terrible, terrible situation because my computer died. So um, here we are talking about movies while playing Minecraft. Thank you everybody for coming in. Smash Bros, good to see you. Um, Man, it's been a heck of a week for me and Ed as well. May I tell them about what you got and how things went, or you want to tell them,
what am I doing?
or you want
What?
to not bring it up at all? About what you went through, about getting all your stuff up to date. I'm trying to keep it vague.
Are we talking
We
about
both need
the
help with it.
vaccine?
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't want to say
okay.
that with that. It's not my business. That's my business. So
Oh, okay. I was just really
I
confused.
know that's
You keep
ridiculous.
it too
Yeah.
vague.
I guess that's I was trying to be polite, but yeah. So yeah, Ed went through the second round of that, and then I have had dealing with the job, and then my wife is pregnant, and so we're going through a second pregnancy, or she is. I'm not going through anything. That's not what I should say. And then yeah, seeing that we weren't on Tuesday, which I apologize because my computer went down. So it's been a heck of a week. But we are here. Um, we are here. Oh wow! Thank you so much. And I'm gonna say this wrong. It's Taco Angel El Taco, and of course I hear El Taco, and my brain wants to hear Del Taco because I miss Del Taco so much. We don't have one here. It's sad.
Bro, you're missing out. There's an El Taco Express.
I don't get me wrong. Hey, Smash Bros. Great emotes, dude. Those are awesome. Um, I do not like El Taco anymore. It's just too much for me. But Del Taco, the California burrito with the
What are you
steak and the
flapping
and
your
the
gas about?
oh and the French fries. Oh my
French
gosh.
fries do not belong with tacos, and how is it too much for you?
I can't. I can't. No, Del Taco for life. For life. For me. Sorry. For life.
That's redonkulous. El Taco's been my
Yeah.
favorite since I had it.
El Taco, don't get me wrong. I live right down the street from them, and they're a local place. Nobody on this stream is gonna know what El Taco is.
That's why
Del
we
Taco's
gotta
got a much
spread the
better chance of it.
word.
I know, but they're a local place, only here in the Eugene Springfield area, and they are delicious. Don't get me wrong, but they're heavy. Like it's almost like Latino soul food. It's so heavy, like it like
Yeah, how we
grips in
do
the.
that?
I'm not trying to dog on it. I'm saying for my stomach, for my palate, it just doesn't work. Um,
Homie, you can get a baby-sized burrito for dollars and then meal prep that biz through the rest of the week. I used to live off that in college.
I agree, but I am a '70s baby and '80s kid. I don't work the same as I used to, so
That should make it
I
even better.
have we even had a don wait, is that Donor or Don Air? I'm really thrown off Smash Bros. Have you guys ever had a Donair? No. If it's a food, no. Have you ever had a Donair?
It
Fry
doesn't
guy?
sound familiar to me. I'd have to see how it's spelled just to make sure I know what we're talking about.
Donair. Donair.
D-O-N-A-R to the Googles.
To the Googles.
D-O-N-A-R.
Away to the Googles. I'm gonna say unequivocally, I've never heard of it. I don't think I've had it unless it's said by another name. Where West, U.S. And I say that because I know I have Canadian friends running around all over Twitch as well, which is fantastic.
Did you say Canadian?
I have Canadian friends running around on
Because
Twitch,
that's what
so
popped up.
oh oh
And other food
R.I.P.
consisting of slices of spiced meat, typically beef, cooked on a spit and served in pita bread together with tomatoes, onions, sweet sauce. Oh, is this like Canadian Euro?
I have heard something like that. Oh, and Smash Brothers is Canadian, so that makes perfect sense.
Dude, that
Okay.
sounds so good right
Um,
now.
yeah, you guys are torturing me. I'm getting hungry. More
Minecraft
coffee.
or one of those.
There are no baby seals in Minecraft. Isn't that the saddest thing?
What?
There are no baby saddest thing in
Even
turtles.
dinosaurs now.
What?
Yeah, you can get a
Dinosaurs?
Jurassic Park pack and like grow T
Oh
Rexes
yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. That's a mod. That's a mod. I was just thinking like in the game.
No, no, no,
So,
it's not a mod, it's
um,
DLC.
oh, it is. I didn't know that. Says
You can
that
for like,
the donair is very delicious. Those are his
dude, that
exact.
sounds good. I've wanted to have legit poutine forever.
I
Oh,
once Jenny the tour guide is one of my good friends here on Twitch, and she told me all about poutine in detail and explained it kind of in an American way, so I could relate the cheeses and various things. Um, Angel, that's awesome. Your brother, we're brothers. Wait, who's brothers? I'm confused. Who's brothers?
Super Mario Bros, dude. Keep up.
Smash. Poutine is very good. Smash Bros says, and yes, I believe it is. I'm really confused. A minute. Welcome back, Lady Crossheart. If you want, Fry Guy, can you pull up your phone now that you're on the Xbox with me
What do you mean?
and see if you can? That way you can interact and see what they're saying instead of just me relaying it for the
Oh
chat.
yeah, I can probably do that. Hang on. I'm on my
Hey,
Wi-Fi.
Mr. Mr. Gig T, but Mr. Giggity.
Giggity giggity.
Thank you. Welcome everybody. Um, we've already reviewed two movies because honestly they were fast movies to review, and we were about to get on to another movie. We were going to do a break, but I think we're going to wait for a minute because we've got people here and we want to talk to you guys
You
a
wanted to
lot.
break it and we got
So
rated.
right, that's okay. That's how it goes. That's a Twitch way to go. And again, sorry we haven't been on this week, but like I said, lots of technical difficulties, struggling with the computer. I'm going to see what I can do to get it fixed, but
TV's
might
being
have to have
dumb right
somebody
now.
I know at work. Yeah, if I can get the computer working again, then we can get back on Streamlabs and have everything set back up the way it was, and we'll be excited. But for now, you get me in a little box with a Steve standing there that's doing absolutely nothing, which is probably the most boring thing to watch. But at least you guys can hear me.
Vaccine
Thoughts on
superpowers.
Encino Man? So Angel El Taco wanted to know about thoughts on Encino Man. So I am a child of the 70s and 80s, which means I grew up as a teenager in the 90s. So Pauly Shore hit for me right, exactly at the right time. I was in high school, when it came out, so it's hard for me to not say anything great about Pauly Shore and almost all of his movies. Encino Man, that is the era I was in high school. If you watch that movie, there it is. Those are the clothes. That's the way we acted. It was weird, and I love that movie. It's
I do
ridiculous. It's
not
stupid.
remember
And it's
Encino
fantastic.
Man.
You don't remember Encino Man
I've seen it.
at
I can
all?
think of the poster, and I know Brendan Fraser's in it, right?
We're right.
Yeah, but I honestly cannot remember anything
Captain
about it.
Salty Dog, what's up, sir? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Um, I do love it, Angel, and it's a movie about two kids who dig up a caveman in their backyard,
He's frozen,
or
right?
one. It's one's backyard, and he's frozen. They unthaw him, and they try to assimilate him. So there's actually kind of a sociological aspect because they try to see if he can become part of this society. And yeah, he starts to fit in and get popular, and it's fantastic. It's so fantastic.
Dude, we're gonna have to
Um,
have a watch party because like there are so many Pauly Shore movies that like I know I've seen but I can't remember them. Um,
Agreed.
Encino Man's one.
Agreed.
I don't remember Biodome at all. Like I literally just remember
Oh,
seeing the poster on advertisements at my barber shop because they had a bunch of old magazines and Punisher comics. Um, and then what is the one that the movie cover? He looks like American Gothic.
um, it's Son-in-Law. That's actually my favorite Pauly Shore movie,
I've not seen that
and
one.
that's
Well,
actually,
I haven't seen that one at
oh
all.
Lord, you haven't seen any of his good movies.
No, I've seen
So
two of them. I just didn't remember what they are. There's also another one I remember. He's like a trust fund kid, and he's trying to win back his dad's inheritance or something. He's competing with his crappy like family members. That one I remember liking a lot. I think that's what I watched the most recently, and even then, that was like 6 years ago.
I don't remember that one. There's also In the Army Now, and
I
then a
remember
few
that one.
others. So no, you've those three that you've Biodome, Encino Man, and Son-in-Law, as Angel said, there is absolutely Farm Boy is the other one that.
Okay.
So Captain Salty Dog says we should review Encino Man, George of the Jungle, and The Mummy with
Oh,
Brendan Fraser.
that's
So
adorable.
we will, and then Chris Farley movies. So we're getting down a nice comedy path here.
So no, no,
Comedies are
no.
easier because they're shorter.
What we should do is we should do like the game you wanted to play, but we'll do it with actors. So we'll do a Pauly Shore one. We'll end on Encino Man. Then we'll do the Brendan Fraser one, and then we'll end on that and do another one.
I love it. I love it. So we're gonna have to do this in April, though, guys, because we've already planned out our March. We're gonna do a Martyr movie madness event, where we're gonna do all the Godzillas that we can manage, the King Kongs, and then some other movie monsters in there for flavor, including Pacific Rim, probably Pacific Rim Uprising, which I've never actually seen, and then maybe a few like classic movie monsters like Jaws and Lake Placid and Them, which is the ant movie from I think the 50s.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's going to be the whole of March, leading up to King or Godzilla versus Kong on. Ooh, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. That could be interesting as well, because that would be technically a movie monster. Um, because that was that era. And if you guys have other suggestions for monsters for March, movie monster movies, sorry, monster movies for March, then that would be fantastic to at least get us. Yes, absolutely. Kaiju
I
movies in
have to
general.
throw a bad one because I haven't seen it, but it's been on my radar. It's got 3.6
Okay.
stars. Carnosaur from 1993.
Okay, we'll do one bad one for Ed because that's awesome. I don't have a problem with that. Um, I had a movie idea along. I think I get that. Was that a? I think it's a. I'm so terrible with chat jokes. I'm terrible with them. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here because people were talking about other movies. We are weird in high school, Captain. I agree. We were all weird in high school.
I would love to do
Um,
Chris Farley movies. That's what Angel Otako's talking about too.
Absolutely,
Ooh.
and we will. And I think for some, the hell is Meth Gator? Super Sentai was my jam. Now, of course, we could always get into some more Japanese style monster movies as well, or even just like the big heroic mechs to some degree. I don't know. Oh, Meth Gator is your movie idea, Angel. That's freaking awesome. That's frightening and awesome all at the same time. So I was a gator that got into like a Bryan Cranston style meth lab. There you go. Totally, Angel. I totally agree. Starts in the meth house. Alligator gets out, takes over the meth house, and next thing you know, this meth gator is taking on the neighborhood. I think
So,
that's you,
so
you need to write that movie.
the easy way to do that movie is set it in Florida. Nah, 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 nah. what I think you should do, all right? So maybe it starts in a meth house, or maybe, all right, the gator is on a gator farm where they farm it for meat. We have a bar in town that actually makes gator burgers, but we also have huge
Mm.
meth problem in Oregon. What if they're trying to bring over the gators fresh? Bam, there's a collision. All the gators, all the meth. One of the gators gets the most meth. It becomes the alpha gator, and then boom, takes over the freaking river. It's swimming up and down the Columbian. We can make this
You could
happen.
just call it Alpha Gator and to say meth in the title and get more release for it.
Exactly,
Call it
Salty.
Alpha Gator.
You got gator in my meth. You got meth in my gator.
Oh man. No, what if the movie took place both in Florida though, because of the whole, Ganjasaurus Rex. Okay, now this is getting interesting. Now, would that Ganjasaur be made out of ganja, or would it be like a ganja dealer? Like, I'm not quite understanding how a
No, no, no.
Ganjasaurus Rex
You're
works.
clearly thinking about this wrong. Someone's trying to make husband plants while splicing genes, like they did the fish genes with the tomatoes so they could grow in colder climates. But then they accidentally get some samples from a freaking Gigantosaurus, and bam, they make Gonjasaurus.
I love it. Oh, so instead of movie reviews, we're going to now come up with our own scripts, and we're going to do this through the chat, and we're going to send these in and see what we can get made. Of
Or we
course,
could just
that's
shoot them in Minecraft. They will make
well,
a
I don't know where
sizzle
the method.
reel, and we'll like send it to A24 and Blumhouse and all the people that are like scraping the bottom of the barrel these days.
Yeah, just maybe they'd make it. Um, I love Angel is tell us the whole plot here. Okay, so here we go. Meth Gator um, starts in a meth house. Dumb guy. Hey, let's get a gator to protect the meth. Drug bust. I like it. Flush everything in the toilet. Months later, calls to sheriff's pet's missing. Uh-oh. I'm frightened now. Now, okay, Angel, they made this movie already. Now you got to be careful. This happened, and I think it's called Gator, and somebody flushed their pet gator down the toilet in New York City, and it starts wandering the sewers and doing exactly what you're about to talk about. It was a methless gator, if you will,
Yeah, but this
a
one adds up
methless
the
gator.
wow factor. You need the meth in there. In this
I
economy,
agree, but
you
if
need
you're
the
gonna
meth.
do it this, I agree, but it has to take place in either like the Keys or in Orlando. I agree with
Oregon,
Salty Dog.
man,
It
we
has to
have the
be in.
meth. We're just missing the gators.
I know, but nobody's gonna associate Oregon. Yeah, exactly. See, Angel, Florida. I just don't think people are going to buy it in Oregon. They're really what? Or they should be smoking weed in Oregon. That's what everybody thinks about us. They don't think about
You
meth, even
just
though
got to
that's a
go
big
further
problem. And
south. All right.
Nebraska. Oh, Nebraska could be interesting. There's not enough people to torture, though. You need a lot of people for a movie like that.
But there's the right kind
Or
of
you could go
people.
and just build a small town in level 4 city blocks.
Either way, we're probably gonna have to shoot this
Um,
in Georgia because they got the cheapest tax credit.
Specifically Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah, I could see it happening there. I could see it happening in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been there once. I drove through about as quickly as I could. Um,
Now, see, if we get this off the ground, we can have Gonjasaurus Rex versus Meth Gator. Yeah,
oh, genius!
yeah,
You
yeah.
just made us $12, Ed. You just made us $12. Um, so back to the whole movie Monsters of Mars. Absolutely going to be doing, like I said, the new movies from the King Kong and Godzilla franchises, the combined universes from Legendary Pictures. But they will also be doing several others, and we're trying to make sure we mix them in. But remember, if you want to save up your tickets, which I can take a look here, save up your tickets, and if you get 5,000 tickets, which is quite a few, absolutely you can pick any of the movies we will watch and we will review them. We have had a few people pick due to the support that they have given in the past, so that's another way we can go. So any support you guys give us is awesome, and we will support you guys by letting you guys pick the movies that we watch, because we've seen a lot of movies and we could review them all day long, but if you want to hear what we think about them, I think that's even cooler. So we will, of course, keep this list. Oh wait, Salty added another thing here: pot zombies. So you'd have hordes of pot zombies around while dealing with this Gonjasaurus Rex and the Meth Gator. I think this would be a really hellish world to live in. I wouldn't want to live there. Did I lose Ed? Maybe we could rights. Oh, if it came out in '87 and it's super low budget, I bet you it could be gotten. I bet you it could be.
We could probably even buy it with
That's what I'm willing
weed.
to bet.
I could see the title now on like Vulture Beat or something. Ganjasaurus Rex
Right.
gets sold to ganja farmer or makes deal with ganja supplier.
For 18 pounds of marijuana. Yeah, no, that would be interesting.
We just get all the local
Um,
shops to sponsor it, then we just put them in the movie as random background locations.
oh, that's ridiculous. But yes, it very well. I mean, that could do it. Okay. So I definitely want to see that script, Angel. I want to see you write that meth gator script. I want to see how it goes down, especially from Omaha. I think from the center of the country is a perfect place to start that franchise because by there's gators on both coasts, and you're probably dealing with some Canadian stuff there. So yeah, I see some really potential for a second and third movie. And if you're not thinking about 5 movies these days, you're not in the game. You got to think long term with Meth Gator
No, we even
because
have like a franchise team up. We'll have Ganjasaurus Rex versus Meth Gator, and then they'll both team up to fight the Crack Kraken.
and I understand. And then the pod zombies will come in, which are of course a metaphor for us, but that's not relevant. We don't need to go into the metaphors yet, but um, they are a metaphor for the humans. Um, we are going to be reviewing Rear Window. We were just done with Army of Darkness, which I think everybody is probably not happy that they missed. But Cannabis Sequoia. Wait, what? So it was a giant redwood cannabis? That's ridiculous. I really want to watch this Gontosaurus Rex movie now. I just want to see how terrible it is. 1987. That is an old movie. That is old. Not really. I'm way younger than that. Not that old. But anyway, we were going to take a break, but we're not actually going to break. We're just going to take a break, as in just run to the facilities and come back. So if you guys are willing to hang out, we were going to cover one more movie and chat about that, as well as just get off the rails like we just did. We've already gone off the rails, I think, way more than normal tonight.
Yeah, I gotta
Mostly because the
go.
format tonight is terrible.
I gotta
So
go take a Meth Gator to the pool.
go, you go take your meth gator to the pool, and I will meet you in a minute. You
Okay.
guys can hang out and look at us, look at the dog. We'll be right back.
Vaccine powers away.
Feedback problem. Feedback problem. Everybody has feedback problem.
What's up? That was really. I'm in this.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Whoa. We're like one. You're surprised I haven't seen G Rex? Um,
Bye.
how do I? Wow, Mr. Giggity, I just realized who you are, and that is throwing my brain for a wild loop. Thank you for the support. And yes, probably should have. Got to remember the last year of my high school, I was up here in Oregon, not down there in the Bay. So, um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, interesting. Thanks for coming on and supporting, dude. That's some. Giggity is my
Oh, that's
yeah. Love it on VHS. We're gonna have to figure that out because I would love to watch it. Like, and we could figure that out. Although I might voodoo, but yes, and thank you for the support. I'm like shocked and blown away right now. This is So we have another movie we're going to review. Time, the movie Rear Window, which is the 1954 thriller starring Jimmy Stewart and hold on, and oh, who was the third person in it? Do you remember the actress's name or the actor that plays the police officer?
oh God, no. I remember the main guy's name. Was that James Stewart?
Yeah,
Yeah.
James Stewart. Jimmy Stewart.
It was It's a Wonderful
He's
Life,
like
right?
that is the fellow.
Okay, yeah.
That is the guy.
That is the only
He is
one.
definitely the one. He hold on, I'm going to pull up Rear Window right now. So if you've never seen an Alfred Hitchcock film before this one, which I'm assuming you have, and I'm assuming most people have, but if you've never seen an Alfred Hitchcock film, oh God, you're going to pollute my area with donkeys. Okay, it's fine. I'll deal with it later.
It's Valentine's Day. We gotta have a little ass.
I got to have a little ass. That's fair.
And they're everywhere.
There are asses everywhere. I agree. And they're giving out little hearts, those asses. So it works out well. So anyway, if you're not big into older films, which, not everybody is, but I think that films have a merit no matter what era they were made in, mostly because every filmmaker has built off the one before them in one way or another. So you can't really discount the people that they don't remember or understand before their era. Kind of miss the point of the whole medium. It's the same with any other art form. So painting or anything else that everybody's kind of learned from the previous people and tried new and different things. So we wouldn't have J.J. Abrams or Chris Nolan, Zack Snyder, or anybody else if it weren't for folks like Hitchcock. So revisit these. And so that's why we're kind of doing classics. And I thank Ed for letting me go to the older films as well, because it isn't easy for a lot of people to go for movies that are older than them, and I'm just as bad. I mean, anything made before '77, and I'm just like, twist my arm maybe, and then it took years for me to just now do it. How do you feel about movies that are older than you, Ed? Do you struggle with some of them because of their age?
No, I kind of prefer them because they come from either a simpler time or a time where you didn't have to like shoehorn that into a thing. I have a
Sure.
great affinity toward older films because I spent a summer in Virginia and my uncle put me down to watch The Day the Earth Stood Still, and that kind of kickstarted
Oh,
things.
the
Yeah.
OG, the '53
Yep.
black and white. Oh, such a good movie.
We
Such a
watched
good movie.
that and some freaking black and white movie about a submarine, and that was kind of it.
Black and white movie about a submarine. You have any other details besides that? I mean, that
No, I don't
it could
remember
have been
much.
U571.
That's the one that I can't remember what it was, but like I immediately came home and bought The Day the Earth Stood Still and watched it on much special feed. And then this was before the Keanu one even came out. So
Right.
when they first dropped a trailer for that, I was like, boo.
And what did you think of that? And since I would say you're a big fan of that film, obviously, because it's one that had an influence on you and the way you like film. So, what do you think of the Keanu Reeves version, the remake?
I think it did what most remakes do, and if the object was to just put asses in seats and keep them entertained for the runtime, it's fine, but it just misses the heart of the original. And like most things, when they try to do it bigger and better, you don't really have to do things bigger and better, but then you have to do. And I feel like why remake something when you can just do an adaptation of it? You know, make a story based on A Day the Earth Stood Still or A Day the Earth Stood. You know, take that thing and take the elements and do something with it, versus just doing it again and trying to do it better and then totally mark.
So I think of movies as like the way people cover songs. Okay, so like if you're going to cover a song, I have no problem with that, but you got to make it your own and you got to own it at the same time. You can't like you have to respect what and make it your own at the same time. And if you can't completely do both, you're going to fail at it. And I think that's exactly true for movies as well. A good cover is done uniquely, but also well. Um, a remake has to at least throw a nod to the original in one way or another, whether that be through format or a couple of specific shots or maybe a dialogue or maybe a character name or whatever. Any of those work for me. But it has, and if it's not there, then it feels like you're just ripping off a story to me. And then if you don't execute it well because you just thought, oh, we're going to do this ending instead of this original ending, then it becomes problematic. And what's weird is Rear Window has this problem because it is a movie that was made in '54 and then there was a remake. And that remake is different and weird.
Is this the remake or is it the original?
This is the original.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So, yeah, so Rear
Also,
Window, 1954, Jimmy Stewart is the original Alfred Hitchcock story
okay,
of the creepy dude looking through the windows.
we
Anyway,
should take a pause. I don't know if your chat's there. Angel El Taco was giving us a pitch for their zombie movie.
I was sort of reading along as we were going, but let's take a look back and we'll totally run through it. So,
Because my
it's a
chat was
trilogy of
dumb
spin-offs.
and it closed, and then like
Oh
I
no.
asked them to give me the pitch for the zombie movie, and now I can't see the full thing.
Okay, let me get it here for you then, because I can see the whole thing for you. So I'll read it out here as best I can. Okay, so that's a zombie movie. Okay, so it's a trilogy with spin-offs. Also has a zombie movie. Let's hear the zombie movie pitch. So let's start with a guy. Average looks, average job, etc. One day stuff hits the fan. Um, Zed's attacking people. He bumps into a girl. She gets bit. He fights off the horde and gets bit too, without ever shifting focus away from the guy. Watch him turn and attack people himself. At times he joins a horde, and at other times just shambles on his own. You see survivors in the background fighting, just trying to keep on. He attacks with the hordes, an arm or a jaw, and other things throughout. Then at the end, he's in a forest, and bam, screen goes black. A blur to semi-focus. A young teen excited. Zombies from the POV comes into focus comes in from out of view, telling the boy to keep it down and pats him on the back. Then them walking away, the Zed's vision fades looking at the boy and the man disappears. The end.
Huh.
That is poetic. That is artistic. That needs to be made. And I think it's in a way, it's the movie that tells the zombie genre that it's over. Because it is. That genre has been beat to death. To death. I've never seen a genre beat to death more than the zombie genre.
Poppycock.
That movie, no, that movie that Angel just described, genuinely, I can feel that movie, and what I see is a really gritty story about what that zombie goes through. And if you hear dialogue, it's more like ambient noise in the back, like he was saying with, like they were saying with, back here, just a second.
Okay, I agree, and I think that's a good movie pitch.
The
And I was
background
down for it.
fighting, survivors in the background fighting, just trying to keep it on. So it's like watching The Walking Dead, but we're watching it from the zombies' perspective through the whole film. And I like the idea of it just being an average dude. That's perfect. Like that's poetic. That's poetry in action, in my opinion. So yeah, that's how it is. That's me. But what are you gonna say there, Ed?
Well, I was gonna say, okay. I think that sounds like a real stellar thing. I want to see it. I'm pretty hyped for it, actually, even just hearing you read it. But when you said that the zombie genre is dead and beaten to, my friend, that is what zombies are in general. They are the undead armies that are releasing and be stopped. They are death personified and animated, and they have an insatiable hunger that can never be quenched. And that is what zombie movies. And I kind of think it's cute and like artsy fartsy.
So you think they in itself? So you're thinking meta on this, which I know you love, and I do too. But you're basically saying the movies themselves and the shows themselves have become the hordes that we feared zombies could become themselves.
Yes, and I'm here for it.
I like that. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to try to find a fancy, Alexandria style place where I don't have to deal with the zombies and I can just pretend they're not there. You want a Daryl Dixon out there and just run around? More power to you.
Nah, dude, I'm more
Enjoy.
like newer faction in the show that you haven't seen in a while, so I'll keep that out. But I commingle with that stuff, and even the bad zombie shit, I'm here for it. I'll watch shit like Zombeaver. I'll watch shit like Fido. I'll
Okay, no,
watch
no, no, no,
Carrier.
wait. Hold on. Nobody needs to bag on Zombeaver, okay? That is by far and away one of the best low budget crap shit films I've ever seen in my life. I laughed so hard during that movie, and I love how it knew what it was. That film owned what it was, and I appreciated that about it. When a movie will own itself, the Piranha movies, Piranha and Piranha 3DD, 3 Double D, those movies own themselves. They
Oh,
know
the
what they are.
remake of the '70s ones.
Yes, they
Yeah,
know what they are, and they
those
knew
are
what their
pretty cute.
predecessors were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they played off of the originals, and I love that you get Ving Rhames, I love that you get Christopher Lloyd, I love that you get these ridiculous characters, and that the gore was way over the top. But of course, it's um, Cabin Fever guy. I always forget his name. Um, I know this guy
It's
well.
not
I
Ryder
know
Strong,
the
is it?
director. No, he also did Green Inferno. He also
Oh,
did
Eli Roth.
Knock Knock. Roth, thank you.
Yeah.
So Eli Roth was one of the producers on the Piranha films, and that's why the gore is off the charts. And it is off the charts. And then 3DD was like, nah, you know what? We're just going to take it all the way, just like they did in the 70s. They didn't mess around. And I loved it. I don't think I'd ever watch 3 Double D again, but I have watched Piranha a couple times.
Yeah,
So
they're cute movies.
I digress. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about zombie movies before we get back to classic horror?
No, just that I'm here for
Classics,
it,
if you will.
and I, I,
Okay.
I, I wish to see them outlive me, and I'm very certain that they will.
No, and I think, okay, here's a little bit of a morbid thought for you, Ed, because this is a thought that has gone through my head more and more the older I get.
Okay.
Which movie do you think will be the one that you see the preview for, but you never get to see?
Probably like the 20th Star Wars,
But you know what I mean. Be out there. There's
or
a preview you're going to watch, and you're going to get really excited about a movie, and you won't get to see it.
you know,
We
knowing
all are
my
going to experience that.
knowing my fucking luck, it'll be Marvel Zombies. Suddenly
Sucks,
have the
yeah.
balls to put it on screen, and I'll be like 60 years old, and I'll be like, I'm gonna get in shape and try to blah blah, then have like a fucking on a treadmill
Right.
the day before it
But that's
comes
something
out.
I thought about the other day. I was like, oh, that's weird. There really is a last movie for everybody. And I'm wondering what mine is all. Not to be morose or dark, but it's just an interesting thought, if you will, for mortals.
Angel El Taco
And
says
so,
free guy, and that makes me sad.
Free Guy.
Yeah, that
What
Ryan
is
Reynolds
Free
ones
Guy?
that was supposed to be out like last year.
Oh no, that's not your last movie. That's not your last movie. Yours is in the future. I don't no no last movie.
I mean,
No,
at
that's
this
no
point, though,
no.
I kind of wonder if it's ever going to come out.
There are so many movies that have been shelved that'll never come out. There
Yeah.
are some movies that were shelved that should have come out. So here's something about Chris Hemsworth's career that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Hemsworth got popular because of the MCU titles, right? Especially Thor. Put him on the map, right? If you go before that, though, there were actually two films filmed before that with Chris Hemsworth, but they weren't released until 2 years after Thor because of disputed rights and distribution. And it's the movie Cabin in the Woods and the movie Red Dawn. If you look at both of those films, he's actually younger in the films than he was as Thor because of the way they released them. And had they been released before Thor, he might have even had more time to be on the radar. But I think in a weird way, they almost like banked on those movies doing better because of his. Does that make sense?
That's interesting because I know Dawn 2 started off being a movie where the Chinese invade, and then big China cinema was like, whoa, you can't be doing that nonsense. So they literally changed all the flags to Korean ones, and like dudes will speak freaking Mandarin, and the subtitles will say speaking Korean.
Right.
Yeah, so like that's kind of funny
And that
that that was a
movie.
movie that they shot and then stuck on doing and edited and did.
Okay, we were literally just talking about originals and remakes, where the original or where the right to do its own thing. But so this is the remake is the worst of these types of offenders. It doesn't try to make it its own thing.
Okay,
It
okay,
doesn't know
okay.
how to nod tropes to the past, and it's a shit film. They changed the wrong things. Like
I'm
they
gonna
just
stop
literally
you
are
right
like,
there.
yeah.
I still have
Anyway,
fun with Red Dawn, but only when it leans
the
into the
Hemsworth one.
comedy aspects
Oh,
that
okay.
the other one didn't have. The other one was literally just like an allegory, like, yo, this is what the Afghans are fighting the Soviets for right now. And people totally missed
Right.
that, and they were like, yeehaw, born in the USA. Um,
Now I get it. Okay, but hold on. You did not grow up in the era of Red Dawn. Okay, you did not grow up under the Iron Curtain like we did. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, you didn't. It's just the world was very different feeling, and the rhetoric that was being thrown around was so
yeah,
heavy that
Eric,
if you didn't live under Reagan,
Eric,
you didn't understand. So yeah, yeah. What I'm saying
Eric.
is, I agree with you. I
I
agree
grew
with
up
you.
with
But it's fucking
context,
wild.
okay? Watching
I
y'all
know. I
flip
know that.
about Red Dawn is like watching the people hide under their desk being like, this will protect us from the A-bomb.
And you know what? Some of my favorite movies. Oh no, and Ed, I totally agree. Some of my favorite movies are from the Cold War era, and it's not because the movies were amazing, but because it reminds me of an era that is long gone, and that I don't have nostalgia for, but that I do have some fond memories because I was a child.
I have
I wasn't.
super big
I.
nostalgia for the spy thrillers. I think a lot of the spy shit was
You
the
know what I mean?
best from that era.
But yeah, so definitely. I mean, we're talking like early '80s. Oh, so Cloak and Dagger is one of my absolute all-time favorite films from the early '80s, and it's an unwell. Nobody knows that movie, and it's freaking awesome. Dabney Coleman, the kid from E.T. So ah, Henry
Yeah.
Henry Thomas, and Dabney Coleman, and it's about a kid who loves video games. I mean, come on, this is the video game era, and uh, he has an imagination on him, so he imagines this spy guy that helps him get through things, and that's Dabney Coleman plays this
Huh.
imaginary friend spy. Amazing.
That's cute.
But it's 80s to the max. War Games is one of my all-time favorite
That's a
films.
great one.
Just because of, again, it's the Cold War era. But when the wall came down in Berlin, and I know this is very political, but that's how movies are. Um, we'll see you soon, Angel. Thank you for being here. This is really
I was
awesome.
about
Get
to
some
interrupt
food.
you,
Come
but
back.
you were like on a roll. I was
No,
going to
no, no.
say
You're
drive
good.
safe,
And
Angel.
no, yeah. Um, but there's an era that and a feeling that literally I understand you get it through context, and I never want to diminish people learning about history, but there is only so telling a Gen Z person about 9/11 is impossible. They don't understand what that day was like. You do. You remember that day. That day
Well,
was is vivid in all of our minds
now here's what's
from being
interesting,
alive for it.
and what I'd love
So
to
that's
have
the
a
only thing I'm trying to say.
right, and I'd love to have a conversation about this because, like, I tell you categorically and like through a wider lens. Um, I've noticed movies have different effects like that too because I grew up in the era where after 9/11, all the zombies got fast and all the threats got
Right.
really fast and like visceral and immediate, and no time to react and no time to respond. Before that,
Right.
every threat was like a creeping, looming, stranger danger kind of vibe, and now it's sort of like in your face,
Right.
explosive. No chance
And
to
that's the
brace
difference.
yourself.
The Cold War, even when I was a kid, we were afraid we were going to get bombed with nukes. We really were, like really, really were, not but really were. That had that effect. The Red Dawn was a. I don't disagree that what was going on with Afghanistan was absolutely an influence. There's no way there's no influence on any film, and anybody who wants to say that films aren't politically, socially, culturally, made is not paying attention. It doesn't matter what the
Well,
film is
did you
doing, even
finish
if it's
the
a
original Red
ridiculous.
Dawn?
Oh yeah,
Because at the end was dedicated to the Mujahideen fighters.
no, I know.
the,
but it's
the
still
same people that.
but it's still what worried every American at the time. So it hit home. Is all I'm saying. It's something that we all worried about at the time. It was weird.
For sure,
Um,
and like I'm not saying that like I don't understand. That'd be like take this in modern day context. This would be like taking a film about the White Hats and setting it in Detroit, and being like this film is dedicated to the people that actually have to deal with this problem, but we don't. But we wanted
oh
to make
no,
a movie
yeah,
set
no.
here.
Like just as bad as making it the North Korea because I'm sorry, that's the most unrealistic group of people to have done that
I
ever
think
in
it's
my
equal
life.
kinds of fact. The climate was not. They could just make a movie about Afghan fighters. They had to make it set in America in a small town and like literally jump the shark in terms of things that could happen. That's
Right.
its own kind of problems.
You know that I to this day think that you could pee in a radiator and go the Red Dawn.
Really?
That scene sticks out in my mind to this day as a person because I remember that scene real distinctly. I mean, you gotta remember I was like 7 when that movie came out, 8, 9 when I saw it maybe at the latest. But everybody watched that movie. PG movies were watched by, so I saw stuff that was way above my pay grade at that age.
Right.
Everybody did. Very normal. It was the censorship started when you were a kid, which was really weird. Little to no censorship before that, other than the fact that there were rules that were already there. Like it was, there were things you couldn't say on TV and things you couldn't do. But as far as parents being involved and that whole movement, it didn't
You
happen
kind of
then
you
either.
kind of chopped up there. You rules, and it all started around when I grew up, and then it like
Yeah.
sort of skipped along.
So there are rules. So there's always been rules in movies, like how long people could kiss and how much on-screen time you get and gore, and there's always been those rules. And even to this day, there's some of those rules.
Mhm.
There was never a parent push, a parental drive to have all this, warning labels and censorship going on all over the place until your childhood. Um, I
Yeah,
don't remember any of that.
I think that was partially due to the whole explosion, the South Central movement, and then also the violent video game thing. I think once they saw that those people get pushed around, that's when the movies kind of got their own
Oh, I
committees
agree.
and
No, it was definitely a three prong, four prong because I think even magazines got hit, for their content and
yeah.
it
Well,
was
what
an
always
assault
bugged me
on
is they stopped doing cigarette
censoring.
advertisements, but they still put the stuff at like kids' eye height level. So it's like, how the hell do you
And
get
there were
away with
still
that?
alcohol
Yeah,
advertisements everywhere. Okay, let's get back to a movie that is way out of its era. Let's get to Rear Window because this has been
get
great.
back
But
to a
I
simpler
really do want to.
time when people
I
are
do
up in
want to
their
talk about
apartment on each other. They
right.
accidentally see a
Okay,
murder
so
mystery.
if you've never seen the movie Rear Window, and if you want to, anybody who's here, go ahead and tell me in the chat if you, because I really am curious who has. Um, it's a well designed film in the sense that you definitely build through the story and the characters aging because you start to see know who this guy is, and he's kind of a nobody's man, not an everyman, which is weird for Jimmy Stewart. He always plays the everyman, but the opposite. He was just like, I don't need nobody. I'm a piece of crap. Everybody needs to just leave me alone. I'm living my life. She's too good for me, and it's just
Oh, okay.
wild to see him in that role.
What's weird about that? Okay, Stewart was not the everyman. He was like the Ubermensch kind of. He was a photographer that used to get like the magazine
I
cover
know,
photos and all that, which was kind of
I know, and
interesting
that's how he's
to
in
see
the,
him.
and that's how he's in the cast is because he was sitting. They literally show the picture of the crash on the track that he was on. That he literally ran out into the track to get the picture of, and his boss was like, "Yeah, like, what'd you do that for?" He's like, "Dude, you wanted me to get the picture. I did what you asked." And he's like, "Yeah, but now you can't work for me. No good. Like, this is worthless." Which I,
Right.
you know, freelancing sucks is what that tells me. Like, he was still freelancing even as one of the top photographers. He didn't have a secure position, although it sounded like he worked for the magazine. But like, what does that mean? Peter Parker style, or did he work? Because it sounded like he still got paid per job. Oh no, donkey.
So
Got
it's
paid per
Valentine's
job.
Day. There's some donkey
So
punching
we could
going
kill
on.
donkeys.
Um,
Oh lord. Jesus,
yeah, I get the
that's
feeling
dark.
that he was salary, but he was also probably the guy that would chase a story. Like he's the dude that gets your cover story, but then always disappear because he's got something else he could shoot for a different magazine. And I feel like I that through the dialogue where him and the detective used to be in the war, and the detective would do all the daredevil maneuvers, and he would get shots that would help him.
Right. It would help both of them because the detective
Yeah.
looked good and would look good.
Well, I think he was
You
like
know what I?
counterintelligence, and then also war photography is the thing.
Oh, agreed. You know what I found the most interesting about well, the I found the most interesting thing about the film. One, actually shocked because I didn't watching it. I thought it was a '60s film. I looked and it was in the '50s. I was shocked at the gratuity, um, the female display in the film, and I didn't actually expect that so early on in film. And I
With the
know Hitchcock
gratuity
was
of
known
what?
for pushing the female form, the ballet dancer across the way,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They kind of
and
showed
all the
everything. Yeah, and there
gratuity
was a
with
real
her.
voyeur aspect to this part.
It really was, and that's the thing. So this was remade. It's the movie is called, boy, what am I doing? I know this one. Desperia, not Desperia, Suspiria. No, wait, I'm saying it wrong. It's a Shia LaBeouf movie.
Disturbia?
Disturbia is a remake of Rear Window.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. This is probably why I like that movie.
And if you look at it, it literally, we're going to play the parallels because the films are almost identical in so many ways, but they
I
had to
don't
find
think
a way.
it's a remake though.
Oh, no, it totally is. 100%.
Well,
It's the
okay,
exact same
but the
story.
guy. No, 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 no. Similar themes, and this is what I'm talking about when we talked about remakes and adaptations. I think that's a good adaptation because the guy in Suspiria that's doing the mystery stuff becomes a legitimate threat. The thing in Rear Window, like
Yeah,
that
but
doesn't
that's
happen
modern
until the
tropes. The
end.
only difference is that's modern tropes. That's just modern versus original tropes. Original tropes have been done so long, so many times before we were ever even born that people were bored with them as we were growing up. A ton
No,
of movies
but I'm
with
just
different
saying
tropes.
that Hitchcock picture.
That's an
I
opinion.
don't think it's a remake because Hitchcock character work, and he can get you to be interested in the lady that comes to check up on him, and the love interest, and the gal with the dog, and everyone. He doesn't need um, the hooks of what modern movies do. You don't need to see a big
Yeah.
bad become a problem to increase attention. With a hit picture, you can just be like, oh shit, he's gonna break it off with so and so, or oh my god, what's gonna happen with this lady? She's really sad and nothing ever makes her happy, and blah blah. Like Hitchcock does slice of life better than anyone else I've ever fucking seen.
No, and I agree. Especially I think Rear Window is such a great like snapshot of 1950s New York that you get a wide variety of people. You get to see uh, you got to see Hitchcock himself for just a second in the movie. He actually
Yeah,
the
he
pianist
was in the pianist.
across the
Yeah,
way. He was the pianist agent, I think, or at least somebody important to the pianist.
yeah,
I think
dealing
it
with
was
like
his
a
agent because the
photograph
way
through
they
the piano or
talked.
something.
Right, the dialogue says that his agent dumped him, and he had that the pianist had the slump where he thought he was going to get. I saw it. I thought he was going to kill himself. I thought he was getting low at one
Oh,
point, and then he didn't. I was happy about that.
Interesting.
But yeah, it so much in that film just from watching the character, watching Jimmy in the beginning with all those human things, like just everything humans do, where he couldn't get into his cast, and so he had to find a way to scratch it. And when he did, he had that perfect like look on his face, like oh yeah. And we all deal with that, so it was really easy to relate to this guy. And this is something that my wife brought up. This is 1954. Guess what they
Mm-hmm.
don't have in 1954?
What's that?
Television. Television.
Oh,
He didn't have TV. He had radio, if you wanted it. He had the newspaper, which you see him reading a lot. He had books, but he'd read them all already. He mentions that. And he had food and wine. Like that's, I mean, that's it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna sit and look at the window, and that's how I know that
now
Disturbia is actually a remake,
okay.
because Disturbia has the exact same premise. He literally is forced to be home and bored because everything's been taken away from him, except for his video games, which he's bored of anyway, staring out the window. It is exactly the same movie, and yes, the but it's the same film.
I don't agree with that. I think it's a good adaptation. That brought it up. Um, I think that enough
Well, we can
people.
we need to watch Disturbia now and literally put notes next to each other on
Oh,
them and see
for
what we
sure.
think. Smash Bros hasn't
Um,
watched any of the
it's
Hitchcock
say that
movies, or
because I
you've watched
disturbed you
some.
before I seen Rear Window. Most of them, I have not seen North.
You're breaking up real bad.
I have seen most of his movies except for North by Northwest and Vertigo, and
Um, I have seen several of his movies as well. I still also think I need to watch North by Northwest, which is considered by a lot of people their favorite film, so it kind of bothers me. I've never seen that one.
that's the one where the
And
plane's
then,
chasing the guy, right?
right, it's
Yeah.
um, no, hold on, it's Cary Grant
Okay.
doing Alfred Hitchcock, which is great. There are some. Jimmy Stewart is one of the reasons I like older movies. He actually drew me older movies, and one of my favorite older movies is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And
Oh,
it's a fantastic film. It's who's the same guy that did It's a Wonderful Life. It definitely doesn't feel the same. It has a very different feel. And what's interesting about Frank Zappa from the 1940s is that he was a World War II photographer, and he of the documentaries that the soldiers and people watched back in the day about World War II. And so
oh,
he got business and started making movies. And so his movies have a kind of a bit more of a regimented feel for that exact reason, but I think it works for his style at the time. And, Jimmy Stewart and him worked together a lot. Yeah, Jimmy Stewart's always been kind of one of my favorite early actors, although he and I agree as people, I really enjoyed his work as an actor.
right.
And so seeing him in this role is great. And I think I had seen Rear Window once a long, long time ago, so this was really a refreshing new take. But Smash Bros, I wanted to know, how many have you seen? Oh, it said, never mind. He said all the Hitchcock movies. You've never seen a single one? I think a really good intro to Hitchcock would probably either be Psycho or The Birds. I think
I
those are
think Birds was my first
starting
one.
points. It's an easy one to watch because it picks up pretty quick, and it's more exciting. I hate to say that. I don't mean that in a negative way, but the one of the more action Hitchcock flicks, if you will, because most of his movies are psychological or dialogue based. Psycho is one of those. Rear Window is absolutely one of those. There are a few tense moments, but it's not because of a lot of physicality.
You can tell that Rear Window and Lock stuff set the groundwork for people like Nolan and uh, even Scorsese and a couple other directors that like to chew the fat, and Tarantino with all the dialogue wordy stuff. He's kind of a
Tarantino
pioneer that I
without,
think.
yeah, Tarantino without a doubt would not exist without Alfred Hitchcock. There's no doubt in
Yeah,
my mind. But I also think Tarantino wouldn't exist without Stanley. Um,
that's true.
but then the question is, would Stanley Kubrick exist without Orson Welles? And then we can really start, getting into this. A movie that I'm not sure if you've ever seen either is Citizen Kane. Did we talk about that? Did I lose you?
Who?
I said, have you ever seen Citizen Kane?
Seen what?
Citizen Kane while we're like really touching up on it?
I've seen parts of Citizen Kane. I know how it ends, and I know the whole like spoiler, but I've
Yeah,
not
but you've
sat down
never
and
actually
watched the
seen the whole
entire
thing through.
thing. No, I've seen bits
So
and pieces, and we watched
we
part of it in history class, and that's about it.
we will need to sit down and watch that one. Mostly because I
Okay.
think that Orson Welles, in the way that we're talking about Hitchcock right now and how he influenced people like Nolan and um, or even just a lot of directors we don't think about when we think about movies because you think about all the suspense movies. Or Fincher. Fincher would not exist without Hitchcock. Period. You
Hmm.
wouldn't get that gritty suspense without what Hitchcock started. Because Psycho and Fincher, I see a real close parallel to those tones and ideas with his work. Um, Auto claims tonight. Auto claims tonight are crazy. I'm really confused. Sheesh. These auto claims are crazy tonight, says Captain Salty Dog. I'm really confused. But hey. Oh, you're working and lurking. Okay, okay, okay. Now that makes sense. Okay.
Oh, work till one. That's
He works
rough.
till 1 a.m., but he's here. He's here helping us out with the views. He's being a real great friend of the channel. And of course, anybody who has never followed Captain Salty Dog, please go over and follow him. A real hero for this channel. And he came on and talked Primer with us. Although Ed didn't get to talk to him about that. You guys still haven't gotten to talk about that movie much. And then he does a really great gaming and a little bit of mixed streaming as well as music. Does some great music. I died in Darkest Dungeon. Oh no. Yeah, you were having a bad time of it that night when I had to bail out. That's probably why my character died. But that's okay. Rest in peace, MrSnidBitS. Rest in peace. Um, hope there may be one day there could be 8 character deaths. Oh Lord. Oh, that's a lot of deaths. That's a lot of dead. I'm so sorry, Captain. That's so sad. That's so sad. And everybody, thanks for sticking with us, even though we're in this really wicked, terrible format. It's awesome that you guys are here. We're going to try to get the format back because I think it really does add a little something to the discussion. And of course, MrSnidBitS Jr. Woo, love it. Um, the format will be really cool because I would love to invite Smash Bros and others that are here supporting the channel to come and get on the Discord and talk with us as well about the movies that we review or come on for a movie or two or whatever so that we can figure out some guest slots and just get people talking more about the movies. Ed and I will talk for hours about them. We don't have a problem with that, but more input I think really livens up the discussion. I think Ed may or may not agree. I think he agrees though.
Yeah, definitely.
I just don't like always speaking for you. Maybe sometimes, maybe occasionally. Rear Window though, because we have definitely gone off on some great tangents, but the film itself I think has a really nice pace. I think that it really plays the ups and downs nicely. I have never played Use Your Words. No, what that is. Um, but I think it plays the tones nicely. I think it builds the suspense really, really well. When you get to the suspenseful point in the film, I felt like I wanted to gasp. I was like, oh God, this is not good. That's not good. Like, I really got excited and was like getting involved in the film. And I'm like, this film is over 50 years old and I'm still getting all involved in it. This is awesome. Like, that's good filmmaking if it can get you involved even that many years after. Um, Okay, so we were talking kaiju movies, and one of the games in that is subtitles, where everyone makes one, and you think, and I think you'd love it. Okay, so there's a game called Balderdash, which is exactly that, and yes, I love it, and I love all. Yes, we could even do Discord with multiple people and all sorts of fun movie-related games and trivia. Like we could really take this up to another level. And that's something that Fry Guy and I have discussed with all sorts of fun things. And Fry Guy's got some ideas as well of his own that I'll let him tell you guys about because it's going to be pretty cool. So I think you might remember what I'm talking about because it's a thing you brought up about to add to the show.
It's been a long week, and you broke out there to be about the comedy thing, or are we talking about?
No, no, no. So we're talking about the like what's coming to streaming and what's available and
Oh,
where you
yeah.
could watch and things of that nature. You had a couple ideas from that day. We can always go back on the Discord because it stays, which is nice. We can search back through our conversations. Um, Not like in the olden days when you're on the phone and then you forgot what the guy said. You got to call him back and be like, "What did you say? I didn't write
Right.
that." Um, Discord, use your words will have to happen. Is that a Cyclops smiley face? Because if it is, I like the idea of a Cyclops smiley face. I like that. Anyway,
Bum, 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 bum,
let's
bum.
hear what you think about
So it's
when
interesting.
when I do more of these.
I had a Rear Window, and I thought it was kind of an interesting, timely choice because and everyone really fell for the character, and it having that experience that this person cooped up from a leg injury and creeped on everyone, and me realizing like, man, I live in a boring ass part of Oregon, and you can't really do that around here. Not that I want to see a mystery and or crime happen,
Right.
but yeah, I was immediately sucked into like I don't know shit about photography, and I don't have like a well they won't a relationship going on or some lady coming from the office to check up on me, but I like connected with the character just being cooped up with police. And it was
It did. Yeah.
interesting watching the movie. Maybe because I miss people in general. Real invested in everyone's freaking lives, from the lonely lady downstairs to the ballerina looking gal that did all the stretches to the piano guy to the odd couple that slept on the balcony with the mattress. And I meant to look that up. Is there like a reference to something that people just do that in like
That's a thing.
50s?
That's a cultural thing. Yeah, you got to go. So that's a lot of the film. So there's so many cultural references in the film that obviously are legitimate to the era, right? So the whole, and I'll get back to the mattress here in a second, but this is one that really stuck out to me. When Jimmy's got the girl over and she's going to stay the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. What did she call him? What is his last name? She keep calling him Phil. No, that's not it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She's coming over to stay the night, and it's Grace Kelly, and of course she's the bombshell of the '50s. And so um, when the cop shows up, there's so much judgment going on where it's literally him going, "Well, what's your superintendent gonna think?" And I'm thinking, the super's got to do about anything to do with what's going on in his life. Oh wait, culturally the rules were you couldn't have women if you were a single man.
Yeah.
Period. 1954. That's huge. That's so different than it was now, obviously.
Well, what's
10
me?
years
Okay,
later.
like for sure, for sure. Well, like a lot of people don't know is that like there is a lot of gals that could only get out of their houses and out of the living arrangements if they shacked up with the dude because that's the way you could get a credit or a loan or like
Right.
anything. And like that little bit kind of reminded me of a book that Aziz Ansari wrote called. He does a show called Master of None on Netflix, but he made a book about mods, and he interviewed like people that dated in that era or sexologists and
Oof.
stuff. And there was literally a gal who like ladies on her block if they wanted to leave their town would just go
Oof.
meet God,
You went,
like have a fling. They would just
dude.
get married so they could
You
freaking
gotta say
leave.
all that again. You gotta. No, I hate to say it. You literally have to say it all again. You went full garble.
Oh, that's garbage. Anyway, yeah, different time, different era. I think that's really interesting.
I'm so sorry.
Looking at it from this perspective.
I agree. I'm sorry that you went garble. I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
Awesome possum.
Um, Technology, huh? But
Yeah.
I did love that there were some of those over the what I call over the top tropes, and you see them in movies like constantly now. Like at the monster almost gets the ship, but you realize the monster's so big that if it got close to the ship, it would have had an effect on the ship anyway due to physics. But they let that go. Happens in movies all the time these days, or like the Fast and the Furious, really long runway that shouldn't exist but does. There was a little of that in this too. The fact that he had those huge binoculars, and the fact that he had that giant camera lens, and he was in the light, and nobody ever noticed him. Nobody in any window, and he's sitting there able to see all of them, no problem. But they don't see him. Thought it was a
See
little odd.
that didn't bother me at all though, because they established that the guy's an expert photographer, so I think he'd know how to conceal himself and get like the best angle.
Yeah, but he wasn't, and I am a photographer. I'm an amateur, but he was pretty close to the window, and I get it. There's only so much they can do, and I know it was the 50s, but the way you see the whole courtyard and the way everybody's windows
Shooting,
are
but
all
like if you
open.
think about how they would have done it if they could have recorded, they would have just had him act to not be seen, and that's also a thing that happens later
Right.
on when that gal from the office is like trying to get peeping. She almost gets him caught.
Man, oh, the people go off the rails in that movie. Start doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. I was so worried for her. She was out on that balcony. I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing out there? What are you? Are you insane? Go back uptown. Go back uptown, Manhattanite." Um, but she wanted adventure. That was her shtick. And then I think the room or the friend, the nurse, if you will, um, really wanted to see them together, and so jumped in on this in order to help build their relationship. That's my suspicions.
I could see that.
So,
Was she a nurse?
yep, she was a nurse for the insurance company for his payoff.
Okay, interesting.
So,
Okay.
yeah, they say that in the very beginning, and so she comes over every day, cleans him, rubs his back, gets his circulation going, and then yeah, tells him he needs to marry the girl. Classic style. Um, yeah, I really, like I said, I really enjoyed Jimmy Stewart. This movie, I was glued to it the whole time. Um, and I like the end. It's exactly what it needs to be. It doesn't need to be any more than it is. And if it was any less, it would suck. So it's kind of nice to see. Um, what did you think of the end?
All right, here's my problem with it, and this probably comes from just like a mindset. I think for the time, it was good. It was fulfilling. It's everything inclusion. But I don't know. I feel like the lady got a short end of the stick in terms of like our expectations now, and it feels like she's kind of on a path to sort of give up everything that matters to her to placate toward him, and that bugged me for some reason. I don't know why.
Because it should. It shows the era. Like, I agree. Like, none of that was great. I didn't like any of that. There was so many lines about
Well,
how, just the overt sexism and the overt misogyny built into our whole society.
but what's weird is like he's still a likable character, and like for all the people that you could have wound up with settled. Um,
With him?
yeah,
So you agree with him?
yeah, I
She could do better?
do.
Hmm.
But I also think like for the end, there's a chance that she's gonna be able to do more stuff than she would have ever wanted to, and her what was it her current profession was modeling or something, or
I don't know.
I
I
try to
agree
remember
with
what
her.
she
I
did.
think that. Oh, what did she do? She's just rich. She's
She's
enough to
just
have a
rich.
girl.
I thought she
Just rich.
designed dresses or something.
She did because she can, not because she was making. Okay, so she worked at a store that sold those dresses, and it's just so uppity that they sold each of them for how much did they say? It's 1954, and they were selling them for like 1,200 a piece.
Bastard.
Holy crap! Those are $100,000 dresses. Like that's how much money we're talking. Like the girl was made of money. Like even if she was quote working, it wasn't that she was working. She just was around these people. She's like about it multiple times. Like get back, go do what you do, and go mingle because that's what you do. Yeah, go find a man. And then if you watch girl across the way, the ballerina, she is kind of we get to see to his girlfriend's life by watching her, kind of a thing.
Hmm.
Because she has the Johns over, or not John, she's not a prostitute, but she has the guys over, all the suitors, and it does show progressively in a way what women have to deal with. Hitchcock was definitely like, look at what they have to deal with, but at the same time, he was exploiting them at the same time. So it was like this weird showing but exploiting simultaneously thing.
Hmm.
I have a lot of thoughts on this film.
I, I did
Um,
not understand that whole subsection story, but I did not like how it ended for sure.
which the end
With the
subsection story with the neighbor across the way,
yeah,
the dude and his wife, if you will.
wait, what?
Which character are you talking about?
The lady that was constantly stretching and being creeped on by the main dude.
I don't know if I'm understanding.
Are you eating something right now?
I am, and I'll stop. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, I think that's just picking it up and causing things to be all fucking frazzled. I did not
Fair
like
enough.
the lady across the street that he's constantly fucking creeping on, and she's like stretching and shit, and she's got dudes over and whatnot. Because it ends with like her dude coming back, and he's a short ass military guy, and that just felt really fucking weird.
So this is what I got out of that. I actually liked this. This was Hitchcock letting the everyman have the hot girl, right? So she had all these suitors, right? And she's this hot ballerina, obviously, she's the sex object of the whole movie. And so she goes out of her way to try to get all these different fellas, and she doesn't like any of them. In fact, they're all kind of scumbags, and they try to make the moves on her before she's ready, and they're drinking, and she has to throw the one guy out at one point, like, no, dude, get out of here. I don't want you here. And then we find out that who she ultimately falls in love with is that little guy from the military, because that's who she's been looking for. That's her soulmate. That's
Well,
what I got.
I mean, but to me though, like, because it felt like she was reciprocating most of them, and so I kind of got the feeling that maybe he was just deployed and she was messing around, and then he comes back.
You thought she was messing around on him, huh?
Yeah, and that's the bugged the shit out of me. And maybe that's just because almost everyone I grew up with that was in the military had a situation like that, and the Joe story is real fucking resonant with me. People I
Oh,
know.
so you're saying those were Jodies, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it bugged the
Okay.
shit out of me.
I mean, if they were Jodies, then she's the terrible human. I mean, that's terrible because she was literally cheating on him with how many dudes at one time? Um,
And that's just what I
yeah,
don't
that's
know
awful.
based on the time they shot the movie. But I know that that was a common thing. Like Jodies aren't new.
No, no, Jodies are not new. I guarantee Civil War soldiers had Jodies. It's probably. I bet you the freaking Spartans had some Jodies. Like I'm almost certain. So yeah, I don't think Jodies are new either at all. But as far as the way the suspense built, do you like how it started to, it just was a slow climb in the beginning, a lot of character development, which is good because a lot of films these days seem to lack that.
Hmm.
Built into their relationship, which I really liked, and then it kept kind of building from there. But then when it hit the like bringing the cop back in the second time around, and things started to get weird, for me, I really got hooked at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was invested from the jump. That it's just that was the one story of all the scene that bothered me. It was like hers, and then the newlyweds. Um, but everyone else, I was interested to know what was going to happen with him throughout. Like, I wanted the little updates on the gal that was having a real rough time, or the piano player, or the random couple on the balcony. You know?
Which we didn't talk about. The random couple on the balcony where they had the mattress that they laid down outside. This
Hmm.
is an era before air conditioning.
Oh, okay.
Like if it was around, it wasn't prevalent
Huh. Interesting.
because it's just, I mean, the 50s things started to happen, but not everybody had a TV. Not everybody had
Right.
an air conditioner. Not
Well, I
everybody
know, and
had a
like
toaster.
ice
Not
boxes were a
everybody had a
pretty
microwave.
big thing too, where you just sort of like
Right.
keep your fridge
Totally.
cool by using implemental blocks of ice, and you gotta replace those.
Exactly. And I think that is a huge factor of it. It's so old in the sense that you have to almost look up what things were like then in order to get those cultural references.
Yeah, I totally wanted
And
to, but I forgot.
but that's also why I love being a bit of a student of history, is because it does relate back and it makes it for me to kind of go, oh yeah, okay. Because I've always paid attention to the history of music, movies, the history of TV, um, the history of technology and entertainment and radio, and when these things happened, and because to me they are all related. Like I said, you can't, you wouldn't be, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about three films tonight or any of the other films we tangent about, if it weren't for Charlie Chaplin, if it weren't for the pioneers, if it weren't for oh boy, forget that French director, one of the very 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 first movie makers. He made The Voyage to the Moon, which is the American or English spoken version, but it has a French title.
Right.
And you've seen, if you've ever seen a Smashing Pumpkins video, you've seen the moon that gets in the eye with a rocket.
Yeah.
You've seen that trope, or meme even. There's probably a meme out there about it or something, or a GIF. That's from this original film, and it was, I think, like 03, 1902, and it's about some scientists who are like, dude, we're going to go to the moon. And of course, this is 7 years before we ever tried, and or 60 years, and it's well special effects. It has fantasy. I mean, it's not very long, but that film established what could be done with film. Influenced literally every film. Uh,
Huh.
and there are lots of movies like that. Nosferatu, which is before Dracula, established Gothic horror and Dracula characters like that. It wasn't that Dracula didn't exist already. It did, but the ideas on how to get creepy weird came from those, and so horror has come from all of that. So I love the history of film. I love the history of film for those kinds of reasons,
Right.
because it all ties. People are like, oh, I don't like this genre. I'm like, yeah, but every genre today exists because of every genre before. Like, we wouldn't have, I don't know, we wouldn't even have the giant epic films we have if it weren't for Gone with the Wind, or Wizard of Oz. Although that movie, oh, I heard some really dark stuff about that today. Wow.
Like what? Yeah.
Okay. So the lion's costume. Did you know? Real?
And what?
Yeah. Did you know they had to make two of them?
No.
Yeah. When you see the cowardly lion running around in that movie, he's wearing the pelt of a real slaughtered lion, not just, they didn't. It wasn't a lion that died, and they were like, "Oh, this lion died of natural causes. Let's skin it." And no, they went out and killed a couple, made a couple of suits.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That almost sounds like movie urban legends.
It does, but that movie's loaded with problems. It's also loaded with urban legends, but it's loaded with issues. That's one of
Right.
them.
Yikes.
It's also the most expensive movie prop ever sold.
What, the shoes?
Still, no, the lion's costume is one of the
Oh,
most expensive movie props ever sold. Yeah,
gee.
yeah, to date. And there's some good ones out there. I mean, like Indy's hat, the Back to the Future DeLorean, and all those other things. I'm sure are
Right. I know the
a lot of
ruby
money.
slippers went for a decent amount not too long ago.
I agree, but I think this one was $30,000 or something like that.
Yikes.
Way up there. And I wish I had some real memorabilia. I know Captain Salty Dog has some real movie memorabilia. He was talking about having that script signed by Christian Bale, which is really awesome. A lot of my stuff is not quite movie. I always wanted to get on like different sites and buy, the different clothing items I liked from shows. That's it. You don't always get everything you need.
I
Dark Knight Rock, Christian Bale, totally.
right. I almost bought a freaking $250 T-Rex toy because it had Jeff Goldblum's signature on it.
Oh, that's
It
awesome.
was. Did you ever see the Toys R Us T-Rex they had growing up?
No.
So in the Lost World, there's a scene where some dude in a car gets picked up by two dinosaurs in half and they eat them. And Toys R Us had a freaking T-Rex. It was called the Bull T-Rex. Had a big ugly face and it could swallow a dude in a cage. And that was a lot of 90s toys, specifically with this franchise, because they took stuff from the book that it was exactly in the movie. but somebody had one of those toys and they painted it so it looked closer to the movie dinosaur, and they drilled holes in its feet and stuck it to a board, and the board had Jeff Goldblum's signature and like a picture from the movie, like a still, and they were selling it for $250 in Oculus.
Yeah, I could understand why you might.
Oh,
I don't know if I don't know. I'm at the point where that's a lot of money.
right, but also it was authenticated, so like it was legit. It wasn't just
I know.
yeah,
No,
and
that's the cool part because that's where I'm at. I started dealing in comics and whatnot with a friend. A few. Hello, Fry Girl. Um, yeah, I started understanding when people are like, oh, I have a comic book. I'm like, have you gotten it certified? Well, no. I'm like, well, then it's not going to be worth what you think it is. It's just because
right,
somebody signed it doesn't mean anything. So that's why when you go to Comic Cons, if you have somebody sign something, you should have them certify it on the spot, um, because
right.
it's better. So let's see if we can wrap here. 10:30 is gonna be our closing time, I think. Thank you for coming in, Salty Dog. That was really support. We really appreciate it. We should get back to our regular format soon, hopefully. Um, we want to build up, not build down,
I guess
but we're still here. We're still here going on Sundays from now on. So please check us out on Sundays. We're going to likely be going at either 7 or 8. Um, Probably 7, but we might have to go at 8 sometimes. And, we'll continue to advertise the movies that we're going to do. We're still going to, of course, talk a little bit more about Rear Window, but I just want to get a few. Next week, we're going to be doing Love and Monsters, which is a romantic comedy. We're going to be doing Evil Dead 13, which is going to probably be a decent. We're not signing off quite yet, Captain, but soon. 10, 10 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes. Um, so, Love and Monsters, Evil Dead 13, and then the third film, I believe, is The Warriors. That was
yeah.
by um, Smash Bros. I believe requested The Warriors. And so I want to make sure Smash Bros. Knows that we're doing that next week. And of course, I'll advertise. I'll probably even send out notices to folks. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. I'm actually all over TikTok now as well. I'm trying to make advertisements on there. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers on there as well so that I can broadcast to both Twitch and TikTok to really show some more viewers. So it's going to be. Other than that, any ideas for movie monsters throughout the month? Shoot them to us here or even on the Discord, which is wide open to people now. I haven't put it in the. Let me see if it'll do it. I think I did it. Nope, didn't do it. But we could do shout outs to like Captain, right? Let's see if this works. So Ed, do you want to give your final wrap on
On Rear Window.
Stream Elements just timed itself out.
You
After ADHD, their playing often got me to the level I am at today. If someone redeemed already, I think you'll like them. Are you talking about for a raid? Oh, you did redeem for a raid, Captain. I will totally. That's awesome. Thank you for doing. Um, so yeah, we will raid Chester ADHD since that's exactly who you asked me to, and you redeemed. So that's a absolute gonna happen raid. Now, Ed, you were saying. I apologize.
you told me to do a talk on something. Are we talking about just wrapping up Rear Window?
Yeah, wrapping up on Rear Window and what you thought, last thoughts, or if you have
Having
more to say.
seen most of Hitchcock's stuff, yeah, having seen most Hitchcock stuff and somehow missing this one, I dug the shit out of it, man. I think it's probably one of my favorite movies I've seen so far. I was big on the birds just because the premise always freaked me out, and I never could trust
Mm-hmm.
birds. I didn't start liking. Found out they used to pop. Um, so like that one had a high place for me just because it got me in the creep factor. Psycho didn't really do it for me, but I did like the
Right.
movie. It's just a good format. I think I like the most. It's probably my favorite freaking Hitchcock film so far, and I would definitely like 10 out of 10 recommend it. I'd probably even give it a 10 score. Um, because especially in the context of the pandemic and everything and having been stuck in, it felt hella relatable, still being like a
Mm-hmm.
little slice of Americana from the 50s.
I agree. I like the way Americana too because I agree with that. There was something a bit more um, every American than like what you'd expect to see at that would be like a Cary Grant. Oh look, I'm rich and famous, or Humphrey
Yeah.
Bogart or whatever.
This one
Hitchcock
felt a little
had
more
that like
grounded.
these right reality, which is weird because it's but um, but I agree. I'm actually going to say ditto to your assessment. This is my favorite Hitchcock film to date. I'm going to see about North by Northwest. Really good things, and of course never seen that one, but definitely my favorite. Definitely 10 out of 10. Definitely you should watch Rear Window. Seen it and you enjoy film on at large and enjoy and understand film today. I think Hitchcock is vital to that. You're not going to understand film perfectly without having sampled some of his stuff.
Yeah, and if you want to
Um,
make films, you definitely got to watch his stuff.
Agreed. His shots are really unique and still used today.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he pioneered a bunch of stuff, and like one of those
agreed.
things that like imitation or flattery, and that's something you want to start imitating if you want to do anything. Even if it's not artsy
Right.
fartsy, you can learn so much from just the styles.
The one for this film that should have been mentioned is the set is freaking amazing and very like it had hedge maze feel to it, where because some of the stairs led to some places and some of the stairs didn't, and they had to climb walls to get to certain parts of the courtyard.
Yeah,
Had like an almost an E.M.C. Escher kind of thing feel to it. Not to that degree, but like it felt disjointed. The whole play like but disjointed, and the set really helped build that. And that little piece, that little slice of the street, which was genius to give it that feel in a big area in a big city. Brilliant of set building, in my opinion. Well
yeah.
done sets can really build out. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's got something that almost no one living today has. That's like a unique sense of living environment because there's so many places that seem so cookie cutter. That place had character and layers, and like you could tell that it was almost like they wanted everyone, at least for rent, to have their own little unique, spot.
Right. It was a community, and everybody knew each other. Um, that's another thing that felt different than today. Everybody was like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, are you okay? Are you sleeping in the sun? Oh, I'm okay." Things like that. It doesn't feel like we have that as much today. Um, so, I don't
Yeah.
know. 10 out of 10. If you've never seen Rear Window, please check it out. Definitely worth watching. Um,
I think we basically covered everything.
I think so too. I think tonight's been an interesting but successful night, and thank you everybody for being here. It has been really, really awesome. Thank you for all the support and the love. And we are going to do a raid on Chester. Oh wait, do I have to write? I don't. I shouldn't have to write Chester. Chester ADHD. I'll see if it works from here. It may not. It did not. I didn't know if it would. No, it did work. Okay, it did. It did. It did. I thought so. All right. Here we go, guys. Here we go.
You probably should. That way you can just access the computer. Nice. Hostile forces detected. Arming raid defenses. That just happened.
Are you still there, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're still broad, but I'm gonna kill that real quick. Give me a second.
All right.
MrSnidBitS.
All right. I gotta get to Twitch. I'm still broadcasting.